They are not ready for prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time. That's the name.
Prime time.
Prime time.
What time is it? Showtime prime time.
It's XL Prime Time, featuring Joe C.,
Why in the world am I sitting back and being quiet about this?
Matt Hayes,
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Mia O'Brien,
My nose just decided to start bleeding.
and Leon Searcy.
Now you're just talking tomfoolery.
Yeah.
How you like me now?
The APCC still has life, ladies and gentlemen. My trademark new conference, the Atlantic to Pacific Coast Conference, still has life as we continue to talk about all the drama in college football. Welcome in. We're probably going to go NFL before we go realignment and all that type of stuff because we know that's what you care about most, just off the heels of Jaguars today and into XL Primetime. The noon hours hit thanks to Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy, both dealerships cranking, that's for sure. Near 400 cars sold in the month of July at Beaver Chevy, and then I just left the Beaver Toyota location earlier, dropping my NASCAR Camry off for service, and they were just filled to the brim with people getting service done. So check out both of them, beaverchevy.com, Beaver Toyota, staugustine.com. So the Jaguars have a depth chart that's out, Big Sirs. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the other storylines with this team going to Dallas, basically saying they're going to play their starters. There's only 3 preseason games. They ain't playing in that third one. So that first game, yeah, you got to see guys. That's why I think they were tackling people to the ground yesterday as we talk some Jaguar football.
Well, they're getting the guys, they're getting ramped up because they got a game this week. They got a game this Saturday against the Cowboys. Another reason why you pull out the depth chart, to kind of coordinate on how many guys are going to get a certain series. Now, Doug Peterson has said that the first team is going to play a couple of series, which is usually a little unusual. But now that he explained the fact that you get them in now for the first preseason game, and then next week when you got to go against the Detroit Lions in practice, you're going to get more one-on-one competition in that game. So maybe in that second game you don't play the first team as much because, you've already getting that competition against the Detroit Lions. You get them in this series here now, probably get the 2s and 3s, a little bit more access to the games next week because next week's going to be brutal. I've been in those controlled environment scrimmages.
Yeah.
When I was in Pittsburgh, we played against Washington. When I was the Jaguars, we played against Tampa Bay. And even when I was the Dolphins, they get intense.
Oh, yeah.
They get intense. Guys get hit. Guys are physical. And you know what? Guys like it because at some particular time, you get tired of going up against your teammates. You want to see a different color. To enrage you, get upset about, and then your tempo was picked up when you play against another team.
And don't think for a moment Detroit and Dan Campbell, they don't want to send a message. They're kind of like the NFC.
He's probably trotting out the entire first team, the entire game.
Yeah, NFC darling.
I'm gonna tell you what happened to me when I was here in Jacksonville. I was actually hurt when it was Tampa Bay came to Jacksonville to play against us, right? Yeah. And I was hurt. Now I was missing the practices, so I'm sitting over there by myself. And Tony Dungy comes over to me. Now, you think Tony Dungy is not someone who talks smack. But I'm going to tell you what Tony Dungy told me. He walks over to me and says, "Sir, you hurt? You're not playing?" I said, "Nah, Coach, I hurt my ankle. I'm not going to be here to practice." He said, "Man, we wanted a piece of your ass today." I said, "Oh, my God."
From Tony Dungy.
I said,
Tony
Rick,
D?
Yes. He whispered it. He whispered it to me. I'm not sure if he said ass. That might be embellishing a little bit. But they said we wanted a piece
Don't
of
say that. That's the best part of
it. Well. Okay,
Mr. Nice Guy.
And he said ass.
Yeah. Mr. Nice Guy. But, yeah, and that's what it is they ratchet up the intensity basically when they think it's the most important time to do it. So that's what we're saying. They have to – I'm happy they hit. I'm happy they tackled them to the ground yesterday. Don't do it a bunch, but do it some, and then get ready for Dallas.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
If what Mia says is true, and we have no reason not to doubt it, that she believes that it's going to be 50-50 between ETN and Tank Bigsby.
Oh, we're going back to that. I thought we were going to say that the notion of – the starters will play 1 to 2 series this week and then nothing next week. Yeah,
he's always in rewind.
He's backtracking.
No, because this is important right here. Yeah. How much time does Tank Bigsby see on the field then? Yeah. Or do you kind of maybe 1 or 2 series with him? He's out.
Newbies get more work. There's no question
don't
about
bubble
it.
wrap
I think the question about Tank is
He's
very
going to get 50% of the work.
well, no, because here's the thing, Matt. The question about Tank would be very similar to the question about Anton Harrison, with the caveat, of course, that Anton has had that shoulder soreness that has kept him out of some team periods. Because I would think those two are going to have a little bit more work than the rest of the ones. We saw it with Walker Little a season ago. He did play those 3 games at the end of the year of his rookie campaign. Last year against, I believe it was the Browns, was the first home preseason game. Yes, because Deshaun Watson. They trotted the ones out for a whole series and a half. But then a couple of the ones remained, even after Trevor and the starters had been pulled. And one of those starters who remained was Walker Little. So I anticipate a similar situation because we've seen it in practice. That Tank Bigsby run that he rattled off, the 70-plus yard run that some of the trolls on Twitter are telling me was not as spectacular as we described it as. Okay, sure, the video that the Jags posted didn't show the line of scrimmage.
It's a good run.
Great run. It was with half the first team and half the second team and C.J. Beathard under center. And so that's where I would expect to see Tank, Anton remain on the field while the rest of the starters get pulled.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see Cam Robinson out there.
I don't
at
disagree
that
with
point.
that. It's just that he plays a specific position where he's going to absorb some hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a if he truly is your guy, your 50-50 guy, I don't know that I bring him out there that
I
much,
do
man.
feel like he needs to, and he's not even going to really
He's
feel
a
NFL
rookie,
speed right
man.
here.
No, I know he is, bro, but all I'm
he's
saying
got
is
to feel it.
he does have to feel it, but I don't think he's got to feel it for two or three quarters,
listen,
man.
Let me tell you something. A rookie.
He's not going to play a ton, but he's going to play.
Here's the thing. The rookie, sometimes you have to protect them from themselves. They want to play. They're in the NFL. First time in the NFL. You don't think that man wants to get some carries?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get at least in the preseason game, he might get, 5 touches? 10 touches, maybe something like that. Maybe it depends on if they get a first down, they move the chains. If they, if they continue with the series. But I mean, a guy like that, you don't hold him back, bro.
Yeah, and by the way,
they're gonna play.
They've got 5 guys at a minimum.
Something happens, y'all gonna go.
They've got 5. Look, we cannot. I'm at Sunset Grill last night having the same discussion, and we all came away with the same conclusion. You can't guard against injury. You can't. You have to play. It is a physical game.
It is.
And if you just worry about bubble
That's
wrapping,
when you get
people
hurt.
are going to get hurt.
Yeah, when you worry about getting hurt, that's when you get hurt.
First off, the whole idea of preseason games is just so stupid. Seriously.
Well,
there's no reason for them.
No, I do get
There's no reason for
well,
them.
then extend training camp. Then
Extend training camp.
At some
and then just start the
capacity,
season.
you've got to get your body acclimated for the
Were you
the
out
rigors
of
of
sync
football.
and not ready for the rigors of the game in college because you didn't have practice games?
Listen, man, I love real fake football.
You have no idea what I went through in college.
Yeah. I love real fake football.
And Coach Campbell's listening. He'll
He'll be here later.
He absolutely
I know.
knows.
My
bro.
point is, you were clearly ready for the
Oh
season
yeah,
opener.
absolutely. I was ready for the season.
But I love real fake football. I will take as much as I'll.
Really?
As soon as the game starts, I'll go, well, this sucks. Because you get. But
I think it's garbage, man. Get away with
listen,
it.
I'm a
Just
diehard NFL
Just
fan.
have more teamwork.
No.
Different teams.
We don't get
You
to.
know what? You are, Matt Hayes. You're an elitist.
No, I'm not an elitist. I'm trying to
Let me tell you
protect
why.
these guys from
I'm
getting
gonna tell you
hurt.
why you're an elitist, because you watch the game and you don't recognize the name. You're like, I don't know this guy. I can't root for him.
No,
I mean,
I'm
that's a
trying to-
guy, 4th, 5th round pick who's trying to
I'm
make
literally
the
trying to
roster.
protect these guys from getting hurt. Is what I'm trying
Man,
to do.
football, you get hurt. It's
Yeah,
part
you
of the
gotta play.
game.
You
Gotta play.
By the way, I do love exhibition season because it's football sooner than later. So I will take it.
It's like a game of whodunit. You have absolutely no idea what mass majority of guys who are playing.
I watched it. I
But
think
it's
it's
still
fun.
football. Oh, yeah,
I think it's fun because you
absolutely.
see old college players. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you've got so much money invested in these guys, man. You've got such a plan invested in these guys.
So let's just say we don't.
that you're
need,
throwing them out there for 3 games that mean
Let's
nothing.
just say we don't need spring training. We don't need exhibition in NBA, and we don't need preseason in college.
I'm not
or
saying
in
that.
NFL football. I mean,
Joe,
come on.
Joe, all I'm saying is college football does it, and it's fine.
Right. Well, they only play because of their amateur status. They only play a certain amount of games.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Because next year the national champion could play 17 games.
I know, and that's why they keep kicking it further and further, and that's why someone's going to get paid, or not someone, a lot of them are going to get paid. But honestly, that's why they did it. That's why they did it. They can't play an exhibition game in college because they ain't paying the people. Okay? You know that as well as I do.
Well, I know. My whole point is we know why they play the games because the owners want money. That's obvious, okay?
Yeah.
They want the games. They want
want
the
to
games for
divide
those
it-
games.
They
yes.
want to divide it by 10
so-
instead of divide it by 8.
Well,
Right. So if you just add another preseason game, add another regular season game, go to 18, get rid of all the preseason games, and just extend camp and have
don't think
twice during camp where you go up against another team and individual
don't
stuff.
think Goodell's not thinking on those lines.
so you tell me when Florida plays Samford, that's not an expedition game. Is that what you told me?
Well, I mean, what about a Florida starts season against Utah? Is that an exhibition game?
No, I'm just saying.
He's talking about the gimme
As
game.
much as you can give me an example, I can give you one back.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
gimme
no,
game.
No, it's the gimme game. There's
Yeah,
no
it's
doubt.
a gimme game.
It's a pay game. Yeah.
Okay, that's a
no
exhibition
doubt.
game. I mean, the starters are going to play how much in that game? Maybe after when they're up 28-0.
I mean, they'll play a quarter.
Thank you.
The
That's
NFL doesn't.
what's the difference?
I know, but my point is,
Even Jacksonville. When they were
there
1
are
and
schools
15.
now, and it's going to be more and more now too. you're going to start with a conference game or you'll start with a big non-conference game. The days of starting with like 3 terrible layups in a row, other than Georgia this year, are over.
Yeah, but they still
it's
have
just not going to happen.
And the layups that Michigan has while Jimmy sits out the first 4.
Right, Michigan too. Isn't that great? The two favorites to win it all.
Yeah.
Both have like cakes the first 3 weeks.
They really do. All right, speaking of college football, we will get into this a little bit later on between today and tomorrow. Our dude Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South does an awesome job with his podcast and all the stuff he does on SDS, which, you guys know how much Matt does there as well. But he gets a sit-down with Danny Mullen. And Mullen, with some of his comments, comical, yet revealing, excuse-making, yet telling. I mean, a lot of stuff that we will get into a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow. No Jaguar practice today, so we're not coming off the field and immediately reacting to what happened. But we'll get into college football, but let's stay with the Jags and at least react to this depth chart.
Hang on real quick. By the way, Leon, that those gimme games, y'all lost a gimme game last year. So
I knew you were going to bring that up. You know what? What I just gave you? A layup. I knew that was coming. I take it. I take it.
Yeah. But the NFL does not have those.
That old middle 10 game wasn't too good for you last year, was it?
The NFL does not have those. The NFL, even when the Jacksonville Jaguars were a 1-15 club, they were taking teams to overtime. They were taking teams to overtime.
Let's hit one quick that on the college front before we take a look at that Jaguars first depth chart of the season.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
According to Front Office Sports, Victoria Bowles, how do you pronounce it? Like Todd Bowles, the Georgia recruiting staffer who survived the crash that killed defensive lineman Devin Willock and another staff member, had filed a lawsuit less than a month ago against the university's athletic association. And as of this morning, she has since been fired by the University of Georgia.
And there was one that was not allowed to drive that vehicle. Was not supposed to.
Chandler LaCroix, who passed away.
Yeah, according to, it was not supposed to be driving that vehicle.
Allegedly, was not allowed to be driving the vehicle.
So, that's, wow.
Again, we don't know what happened there, why she was fired, but that doesn't look good.
Right, and it's not going to go away, unfortunately, for University of Georgia because, now, even with the AJC reporter getting fired, there's just this hunt is on for more and more stuff.
Well, Willock's estate is suing this Georgia and the Athletic Association for $40 million.
Right.
So they have 2 suits they're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, doesn't mean they're going to lose them, doesn't mean they're going to settle.
Right.
It just means they're dealing with that right now. And if they don't settle at some point, Kirby's going to have to be deposed.
Mm-hmm.
What if Kirby has to be deposed in the middle of the season?
Yeah, they don't want that.
No, of course not.
They do not want that at all. So we got some college football that we will throw at you. We will keep an eye on that one and any other story that pops up. We're going to be hitting some of the practice fields and getting some of the intel from the head coaches as far as what they think is coming up. But the depth chart, let's just touch on it, Big Sirs, because you've got guys. And look, I'm rooting for a few of these guys to make this roster as we battle back and forth with the Matt Hayeses of the world that don't recognize these names like we're joking. Kevin Austin Jr. and Seth Williams are behind Calvin Ridley on the depth chart. And you're looking at that wide receiver position where across the board it's going to be on one side Christian Kirk, on the other side it's going to be Calvin Ridley. You're going to have Zay Jones if you go 3 wide. So who the first 3 receivers are. But when they put them specifically behind those guys, if they're lining up 3 wide, it is interesting that they've got Kevin Austin Jr. behind Calvin Ridley and Seth Williams behind.
Well, here's my experience of having to deal with the depth chart, not only at the college level, but the professional level. It's a numbers game, all right? When you come in, most guys, when they come and see the depth chart, they panic. Oh, okay, they got me 3rd, they got me 4th, which is a good and a bad thing because if they got you way down, then you've got to do something to accelerate to get yourself in the position.
Right.
So the younger guys, when they see the depth chart, they, it lets them know right then and there that the preseason is important. They've got to do something to be impactful, but to make the team. But then there's also, you've got what's it called? It's called practice squad. Mm-hmm. So you got the practice squad. So you got 2 elements in which you can make the roster. You can make the roster either on the 53-man roster by getting one of those positions because more than likely they're going to keep what? Maybe 6 receivers, 7 receivers, maybe something like that. 6 receivers.
6 was what they kept.
So
last
if you're the 3rd team right now looking up and you're like an 8, it's slim pickings. You got to figure
there's
out.
probably one
Yeah,
spot
you're slim
left.
picking. So now as a receiver, you got to say in your mind, okay, if I need to make this roster, I got to do something outside of receiver. Maybe special teams. Maybe I need to make an impact on special teams to where they can keep me. If not, keep working on your skill set because there might be an opportunity for you to make the practice squad and still make the team. So, I mean, no need to panic because I know I've been in locker rooms where they put the depth chart up and guys come and look at it and they panic. No need. Well, I was the first round pick, so I ain't never had to worry about that. But I'm saying the other guys like that, they see the depth chart. But there's still an opportunity and there's still weeks to go to where you can make an impact.
All right, let me ask you this then.
Yes, go ahead.
Where is the work, the real work that's made, that's put in, that gets you on the roster? In camp or on the field in practice games?
That's a good question. In practice games.
Really?
Yeah. Because,
ahead of camp?
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you something. Their evaluation next week is going to be very important. It's going to be pivotal because they're going to be going up. They won't be going up against another team. You know, and the coaching staff want to see how the prepare. It's all about how can you do. What can you do? What can you assess full speed? You know, as far as all the information. Can you take all the information and go full speed at it, where you're not thinking, you're reacting, all that kind. That's what the coaching staff wants to
With
see.
their silk jerseys on, the lights on, another team on the field, the stadium half full.
It's
important,
they
right?
want to see how you shine on stage on the biggest moments.
But there are guys who do so well in camp that it doesn't matter, right? In
True.
the games.
It does. No, it still matters a little bit.
Let's get a sound bite from Doug Peterson from yesterday because Kevin Austin, like we said, is listed behind Calvin Ridley. And he is a guy they brought him up on the practice squad last year. They want to see if they can develop this guy. This is when it comes to draft, sign, and develop, okay? You've got to develop players. Anyway, Doug Peterson at least puts a little shine on Kevin Austin. Here's that soundbite.
I see Kevin Austin a little bit flashing and doing some really good things. Even Elijah Cooks is making some plays. They're big, tall guys. Him and Jacob Harris both are big, tall guys, and obviously Tim Jones kind of picking up where he left off a year ago. And the other guys are still learning and improving. But I think Kevin's been the one that has done a really nice job, kind of embracing that second year, coming in, understanding what we're asking him to do and his role. And again, it's a big training camp for him and many of those guys.
And it wasn't just Doug, because Press Taylor also praised Kevin Austin. We also heard Trevor Lawrence single him out when I asked him what players have been pleasant surprises to you this training camp. And he said it's not a surprise because if you've been around and if you've seen how much extra work certain young guys have gotten with Trevor and the starters in the offseason, it's no surprise to him that a Kevin Austin has stepped up, that a Garrett Prince, our boy G Money, that he has asserted himself into the rotation because they've been here and they've been developing. And so that's where, to bring this full circle, since I know there's plenty of you out there that are clamoring for us to talk about the pass rush or lack thereof, if they've been able to develop those guys, the hope is if this is one cohesive staff, you can do the same with some other depth pieces too.
Yeah, like Mike Caldwell also needs to turn a corner this year, okay? Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen need to turn a corner. So does the defensive coordinator. He was a brand new defensive coordinator last year. And so he's going to try and do some different things. Bob Sutton, who's been there forever. Coach Campos certainly knows him very well and just talks about the idea of all those guys maturing, not just the player, Leon, but the coach too, and figuring out ways to dial up plays and pressure, which is what they did in the second half of the season. They started to come alive in that respect. They really did.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you had the stat yesterday. The last part of the season, the Jaguars ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
All defensive, points,
passes, defense, takeaways,
all that kind of stuff. I mean, that lets you know that the guys got it. I mean, it lets you know that there was a process that took place during the season to where at the end of the season you want to be playing your best football. And defensively, we were playing our best football last year because we were wondering in the middle of the season where guys were out of place. Offensive players was just running through. Linebackers not dropping and all that other kind of stuff. But then as the season went on, and we made fun of Zay Jones. We made fun of Zay Jones last year when he said, well, we don't want to peak too early. Me and Matt Hayes, blasted.
I love that Leon's admitting it. This is a good thing.
We blasted him
Yes.
when he said that, we don't want to peak too early. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? But at the last part of the season, that defense was top 10.
Yeah, because when he said
and
it, I think they were 0 for October.
Man, listen.
So it was not good.
it was not good. My heart palpitated when he said that.
But, back
was
to
a
the,
little weird.
Back
It
to
was.
the
It was.
draft and develop guy. So
Convenient
Kevin
that I
Austin,
came
you
up
do
that
see in rotation. You do see Seth Williams, Elijah Cooks, who you have the sit down with. These guys are popping a little bit, and you have to have. I call it the butt end of the roster, and I say it affectionately. You have to have guys step up when you don't have somebody else or either dinged up or whatever. Guys need to be able to step up and make plays.
So Jeff Lageman shared this on Jaguars Today this morning, but in case you missed it, he was catching up with Chad Hall, wide receivers coach for the Jaguars, but previously with Stephon Diggs and company up in Buffalo, and he asked him, is this the best wide receiver group you have worked with? Not just in regards to talent, but with regards to work ethic, which of course Chad said, yes, this group is great. But for me, I look at it, and it's the depth, because that's where Logs took it one step further, and he said in the pantheon of the AFC South, greatest wide receiver rooms that we have seen in the last 20 years in the AFC South. The obvious answer is, of course, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, when Peyton was in Indy. But what was the depth of that room? And that's what you're seeing. And Trevor admitted it when we spoke with him Sunday. He was like, in previous years, you knew that some guys, without saying it, were camp bodies. That they were there. There were the clear ones, and then there were guys that were there for, just to have somebody to run around in the third preseason game. Now, that third preseason game, there's going to be guys that are fighting for their job here in Jacksonville, will get claimed somewhere, and could be starting somewhere else in a few weeks.
They've got 4 legitimate weapons, okay? And so then you got to go – and you could even throw Jamal Agnew in there and say they've got 5 legitimate weapons because he has made plays for this football team. And then after that, you can debate 6 on. But name another NFL team right now, and I'd probably put the 49ers up there because they just have so many weapons to get the ball to. But that's 5, and that's including Evan Ingram, okay? That's 3 legit wide receivers. We know what Evan Ingram represents, and then you can throw Jamal Agnew from a wrinkle point of view. That's pretty good, and that's where they're at right now.
So the big questions that I'm seeing, let's stay on the offensive side of the ball as we look at this Jaguars depth chart, and then we'll also look at the defensive side coming up in the next segment. A lot of questions about who is this Blake Hance, because currently with Tyler Shatley still sidelined after the heart AFib issue last week, which he is expected to return at some point, Blake Hance is currently listed as the starter at left guard.
Yeah.
Blake Hance was on the team last year. He is a guy who can play guard, tackle, and even take some emergency center reps if you need. They really like him because we know they love versatility. He's a guy who was part of that Browns team that went to the second round of the playoffs back in 2020. I saw someone sent me the quote from Baker Mayfield in which he raved about him. And so he's a guy who's been around the league, so it's not like you have to bring him along, but he can play every position, Leon. And you know that more than anyone, that if you can play every position – you're going to last in this league.
Yeah, I mean, his versatility is going to keep him in the league. That's the reason why he's still here. My concern with him is that I know he can play every position, but does he play it well?
Right. Can he play one well?
Well. I don't need a Swiss Army knife. I just need a steak.
By the way,
Steak knife.
he is I got to give him credit. He beat out Samuel L. Jackson. You beat out Samuel L. Then you've done. No, excuse me, Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson's also a big. He's part of the Cooper Hodges cheering section at the start of every practice. Which, speaking of, the Baker County product is slated right now as Brandon Scherf's backup at right guard, which I think is an eventual succession plan they are actively talking about down the road. Not this year, but like down the road. But I would be curious. Number one, in terms of him getting reps at left guard, we haven't seen that a ton because they've been so focused on making sure the Walker Little, Cam Robinson experiment happens with the second team offense. And so then Cooper is opposite him at right guard. But also when Ben Barch comes back, because I understand he's on the pup and I know what Gio has said, I talked to Ben off to the side the other day and he was like, I'll be back sooner than you think.
No, he looks good now. But I think what Gio was saying is that it has been, or it will be a timeline that will resemble a year.
Right.
Like 11 months and change is what it will be.
And Doug Peterson said at the start of camp that it would be a timeline similar to James Robinson last year from the Achilles. Yeah. And as we recall, that one, it wasn't until the end of August that he started actually seeing team reps.
At least 8 months compared
Correct.
to this is
well,
10
this one,
plus.
yeah, and this one I think it was just because, and again, we will never, I don't think ever know unless, we get Ben and ask him and he, expands upon it. The severity of that injury, because I don't want to speak for the medical staff there, but I think you know, a lot of us thought it was one thing, and perhaps there was a lot more at play than we realized.
Gio showed us some pictures of a dislocated knee versus a dislocated kneecap.
Well,
oh, my. Okay, it is something.
Here's the thing as far as Ben Bartch goes. I mean, he's already been out 11 months. A couple of more won't hurt him. I know I know what an injury can play on the psyche of a player, because when you're off to yourself, you're with the trainer, you're by yourself, you see your teammates over there working and grind, you don't feel a part of the team. And the only way you're going to make yourself feel part of the team is getting back on the field.
Oh, yeah.
But you've already missed 11 months, so just make sure that when you come back, you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he told me, hey, I'm going to be back a lot sooner than you think. You've already missed 11 months. Be back when you're ready to play ball.
And it is worth pointing out, James Robinson tried so hard to come back and did it for all the right reasons. Undrafted dude that wanted to get another contract and busted his butt and probably came back too soon, unfortunately for him. Hopefully it works out up in Foxborough with him. All right, so we got plenty to do. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. We'll keep looking at the step chart. If you looked at it, what do you think about it? 641-1010. You can hit the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. We do have some college football that we will throw at you as well on a beautiful Tuesday here, and we're going to count them down. 33 days until your Jaguars kick it off for real, and we will have number 33 from back in the day. James Little Man Stewart will come up in about 15 minutes' time, so stick around.
Cruising with XL Prime Time in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
Huddle up.
Who are we?
1010XL.
What do we do?
Sports Radio.
Where do we do it?
The Jacksonville Eye Center's vision is all about your vision. Vision correction for all ages. From an early age to your elder years, being able to see clearly is just a phone call away. Call 355-5555 and say hello to Dr. Robert Snipper. With the latest technology and advancements in vision care, the Jack's Eye Center can help you from top-line care, glasses, contacts, to expert LASIK procedures and cataract surgery. See what you've been missing at the Jacksonville Eye Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to one commercial today, listen to this one.
Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are doing it again, recognizing the local heroes in our community with a brand new car. That's right, we'll be giving away a brand new car, cash, and free oil changes for life to our local heroes. Nominate a law enforcement officer, firefighter, EMT, nurse, teacher, veteran, or your local WOW hero. Head to localwowheroes.com to nominate and vote today. Let's wow our heroes.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter, Mr. Rooter. Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect beer for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Pads will pop, and the practice field will rock. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control and Roland Leash Plumbing.
That's it.
On 1010XL.
The Big Deal lineup is back at Sonny's Barbecue. And now, there's bacon. Introducing the new candied bacon burger, chicken sandwich, and fried green tomato BLT. All topped with bacon that's coated and crisped in our sweet and spicy rub. Each served with a side and drink starting at $9.99 for a limited time. Or add candied bacon to any sandwich for just $2. Come get a Big Deal combo today at Sonny's Barbecue. Local pit masters since '68.
Warmer weather and longer days are here, and that means more time for golf. Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to bring your friends and enjoy a fun day on our beautiful golf course. Hidden Hills Golf Club will take good care of you. HiddenHillsGC.com.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is Community First Tooth for Tuesday. Tomorrow is ViStar Good is Everywhere Wednesday, featuring Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. Get the weekend started with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and enjoy fireworks Friday and backpack giveaway Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. Visit jackshrimp.com. Affordable family fun.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about enjoying your life. So often we can go through life trying to make a living instead of making a life. Yes, it's good to be goal-oriented, but let me encourage you today that our days are numbered. We're not promised tomorrow, so go out and take time to be with your family. You'll always have your work, but you won't always have your family.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband and wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The 2023 Jaguars wide receiver corps has the chance to be one of the best in franchise history. What does Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman think of the wide receiver group?
Look, I've been watching this football team for a long period of time, watching a lot of these teams in the division. I don't know if I've ever seen a group. I mean, you go back to Indianapolis when they had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, obviously two tremendous guys. I don't know if we've seen a group that's just as good as this. These guys are ultimate competitors, and they're about team. And if you're Trevor Lawrence, I mean, this is like utopia.
Jeff Lageman, a guest of Jaguars Today. The Jags have today off. They are back on the practice field tomorrow morning. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Since I know Matt Hayes has already backtracked once to a previous topic on this program, I'm going to backtrack. And Matt Hayes, I'm going to wish you a happy International Cat Day on this fine Tuesday in Duval County on XL Primetime.
The cat parlor.
Matt Hayes is not a cat person. Are you a cat person?
Oh, that's what she's making fun
of.
Oh, okay.
We had a very animated discussion about, cat people versus dog people. I will say this, Terrence the cat, the cat that lives in my house, he was very perturbed this morning. If you're wondering what day of training camp season it is, it's day. The cat looked at me when I was home at 10:30 and was like, "What are you still doing here? Like, I'm supposed to be sleeping right now." And that's the nature of the dog days of camp, pun intended, on dog days, even if he's a cat. But he's really a dog. It's XL Primetime. Again, a lovely Tuesday in Duval County. We'd love to hear from you. 641-1010 is the number to reach us at on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. As we do stay with the Jaguars to begin, before we say hello to our number 33 as we count down to the Jaguars opener against the Colts. Defensive side of that depth chart 1.0, boys. I gotta tell you, like, everybody who's in a panic now about lack of pass rush, the corner, the third corner spot, it still says that Trey Herndon is corner number 3. This is the same roster they trotted out against the Chargers, against the Chiefs. This is literally an identical starting lineup to the lineup they ended the season with. Arden Key was not a starter. And so the panic in Duval this morning, I got to tell you, like, listen, I don't know where it's coming from. We know that they didn't make any moves in the offseason, boys. This isn't news to me. If anything, the news is, all right, which of these young guys have started climbing that depth chart and maybe taken a step ahead of some of the veteran, lower marquee names that they signed this offseason?
I think you got to manage your roster. You can't have all-stars everywhere. It'd be great. I would love for them, with the available money they were able to carve out with the deal with Evan Ingram and then all the other restructuring that they did. I would love for them to make one more big, bold move, and they may end up regretting it. Balky may be remembered for not going for one of those guys and paying them, but at the same time, I still got to go with the idea that this is a much better coaching staff, Leon, much better coaching staff.
Well, I mean, it's much to be said about the Jaguars keeping the core players signed. I mean, we saw Devon Hamilton signed him to a long-term deal. Roy Robertson Harrison signed. I mean, you re-signed those. I mean, listen, I mean, they know better than us. They watch the film, you know. So they see how impactful these guys were, especially down the stretch. And if they're good core guys in the locker room, that's important. You want to keep those guys around. So I mean, there's a lot to be said about the Jaguars keeping their core unit of guys. And listen, I'm a proponent of that. You don't stay the same. To beat the Chiefs, I'm in the opinion that you got to upgrade somewhere. I mean, the reason why we didn't beat the Chiefs is, first of all, we couldn't stop Kelsey, okay? We couldn't stop, what was the backup quarterback? We couldn't stop him going 99 yards.
No, that would be Chad Henne.
Chad Henne. And we couldn't stop, what's his name, Pacquiao. Yeah, I know his real name. But we couldn't stop him.
Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco. But I mean, so
he was kind of like Pacquiao.
So the Jaguars feel familiar. They feel good and familiar with the roster that they had. That they only lost to the Chiefs by 7. But in order to get to the promised land, you know, you got to beat Pharaoh. And right now, Pharaoh is the Chiefs. I don't care what. I don't care who.
Like Pharaoh had a bum ankle in that game.
He did,
too.
and we couldn't get to him.
So don't forget that Pharaoh was injured.
He was injured. Yes,
Pharaoh 100% is going to be a lot better than what he was in that game.
Yes, he is. Absolutely, he will be. We'll find out week 2.
Yeah, there was nothing worse, though, than seeing Chad Henne come in and take him down the field. As a former Jag, and fans at that moment, how many of our Duval Nooners went, hell yes, this is great.
Literally the script is playing out just as we all hoped it would. Another break,
and then that
pun intended, the Jags
right down
way.
The field.
Yeah, and it only was insult to injury by the fact that it was Chad Henne.
Yeah.
If it had been Ryan Fitzmagic, like, you know, maybe whatever, Matt Schaub, whatever, but it was that guy.
Yeah.
Only to be made worse by the fact that he has since retired and been replaced as Patrick Mahomes' backup with Blaine Gabbert.
But it's just, you know, it honestly is just that dink and dunk nature of that offense when they need to do that, they can. They have that short passing game. It's their little mini running game. And Henne is versed enough. You know, what was he always called? Chad check down Henne, and he definitely did it masterfully in that one particular drive.
So the starting lineup, the first team defense, it's identical to that game. So Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris, Foley Fatukasi, Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, Darius Williams, Tyson Campbell, Trey Herndon as your nickel, Andre Sisco, Rayshon Jenkins. Let's look at that second team, which I think it's important to note to everyone out there. When you look at a depth chart, you have to understand, because I saw people clamoring about this on the offensive side, that Luke Farrell is listed as one of the 2 starting tight ends. That is by virtue of he is the blocking tight end.
Yeah.
Garrett Prince, as he told XL Primetime, he's a flex. So he is obviously Evan Ingram's backup. So the same can be said in some vein for the defensive side of the ball, although a lot of it, too, is just getting guys' name onto paper. And so as of right now, your second-team defense reads like this. Henry Mondo. What do you call him again? Mondo, yes. That's Joe's guy. Adam Gotsis. Jeremiah Ledbetter. Yasir Abdullah, listed ahead of Jordan Smith, by the way, who's on the third team. Kayla Von Chason. Shaq Quarterman. Chad Muma. Tavon Campbell. And Monteric Brown as the two outside corner, the backups at outside corner. Greg Jr. as the number 2 nickel. Daniel Thomas and Andrew Wingard. Then when you get to that third team, that's where the bulk of the rookies are. The only rookie who has ascended to that second team as of right now on the defensive side is Abdullah. That's where you see Vohasek, Lacey. That is where Deshaun Dixon is listed. As we've noted, he has created an opportunity for himself by expanding his repertoire, and he's going to be going a little bit more inside. He has some inside-outside versatility. I think that's a large reason why he'll probably make the team, because they need that depth there, and we sure as heck know they need the depth outside, especially with DeJuan Smoot not ready week 1. Jordan Smith listed on the third team. DJ Coleman, Ventrell Miller, Caleb Johnson, Chris Claybrooks, currently slated as the the third team, so he's the backup to the backup at outside corner, alongside Eric Hallett. Christian Braswell listed as the nickel's third stringer, then Antonio Johnson and Latavius Brini. So again, I think that this game this weekend, next weekend especially, if Doug Peterson doesn't play the starters after some tough practices in Detroit, that's where maybe you see some movement of those younger guys. Maybe that's where they start moving and ascending, and perhaps that'll catch your eye a little bit more than seeing some of those other names there.
Yeah, all those guys trying to make a spot on this roster and ultimately make plays. This guy, back in the day, made plays as we counted down 33 days until your Jaguars kick it off.
In the fourth quarter, Pacelli and company knock everybody down. The Philadelphia story for Jimmy Stewart, but the story not good for the Eagles. Little man Stewart had 102 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
James Littleman Stewart, that was a highlight back in the day. Welcome in with 33 days until the Jags kick it off. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Listen, we appreciate your time. And when you hear that, you think about, the Jaguars, the annals of history, 5 scores. What pops to your mind as one of your favorite Jaguar memories?
God, man. Well, obviously that's one of them. But I would say just getting to the AFC Championship games. The one was kind of a miracle in the sense of you didn't think one of the greatest kickers of all time would miss a little short kick like that to put us in. But then, in 99, us just, getting our way there. So I would say those 2 games.
You know what, little man? It's just like Chris Berman, to give Baselli the hype. On the 5th touchdown, you actually went on the right side. You went on my side, because I got a picture of you in flight on my side, and I need you to sign. Hey, thank you. I just want to make sure we confirm that for sure. Your 5th touchdown came on the right.
Yeah, and and really, Serge, really I should be number 1 all time, because we was on 4th and goal. The coach took me out. I should have had 6 touchdowns in one game.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Now, James,
right over your side, big guy.
Right, absolutely. I remember. I got the picture at home. I signed. I got to make sure you sign it as well.
I will do, man.
Now, James, I know you pay attention to the Jaguars, especially the running back core. I mean, what do you see as far as this year, as far as ATN goes? What do you see? How good could this guy be at running back?
Man, I think that's the prototypical running back now, right? Out of the backfield, can run in between the tackles, line him up in the slot, line him up out wide. That's really what the running back position is now. The bell cows, they really don't exist anymore. So for him, he fits that prototype. He's got everything that you need from that position. And I think I look for some big things from him this year. I mean, he came on last year, did a great job. So I just look for him to continue that on and really help the Jags this year.
Former Jaguar running back James Stewart joining us now on the All-Pro Roofing Hotline. James, obviously, as a Tennessee grad, you're pretty familiar with a guy by the name of Tank Bigsby, I would think, in the SEC. The expectation is that he will be the thunder to Travis Etienne's lightning, and I know that's become more and more common in the National Football League. Curious, A, what you know about Tank, and B, what that pairing could potentially do.
Well, I don't really know too much about Tank, but at the same time, I know what a good pairing is because, nowadays in the NFL, you can't just have one back. You have to have several backs. And that's just the way the trend is going. And, it's just like when I played with Natron, when I played with Fred, you got to have a 1-2 punch. And I'm pretty sure he can bring a lot of things to the table and spell ETN a lot of times and give him a breather. So I think it's going to work out well.
James, you were part of a really good offense here. You look at this offense now with all the weapons it has. What is the ceiling for this offense, you think?
Man, I think that, they can go as far as, if they put their mind to it and put the work ethic in there. I think they have a high ceiling. Obviously, they've been in the playoffs and they've faced against some great teams. So I think, it just depends on, do they stay healthy? And do they come together at the right time? We're going to have some struggles, I'm pretty sure, through the beginning of the season. But we really want to be ramping up towards the end of the season heading into the playoffs.
33 days till the Jags kick it off for real. We're talking with James Littleman Stewart. He wore 33 with you Jacksonville Jaguars back in the day, and you played with a very good quarterback. And so pair that up, how a running back can prosper with a very good quarterback like Mark Brunell. How good do you think Trevor Lawrence can be, and how excited is every skill position player to be with him?
I think he just continues to get better and better. And the more skilled players you have, obviously, the better your quarterback will be. No great quarterback in the NFL that's ever existed, didn't have weapons and great weapons around them. They make them look good sometimes, even when they're poor. So I just think that the sky's the ceiling for him, and he's going to be stepping into another year of maturation, another year of understanding the offense, and another year where he's added playmakers. And I'm really looking forward to him and Ridley, seeing what that combination is really going to get some results out of, because I think Ridley can stretch the field a lot, which will also open it up and make it better for the rest of our wide receivers.
Now, James, how frustrating it is for you as a former running back to see the market value of running backs depleted, 20 years later. In our day, the running back was ground and pound. Now we're in a pass-oriented offense, and the market value for running backs has gone down. And I listen, I'm a proponent that the running back, out of all the players on the field, gets hit the most. At all different angles, head, back, shoulder, knees, whatever, to have the market value of the running back position be diluted. How does that make you feel as a player who played the game back in the day?
Well, it bothers me because, football has certain types of elements to it that make it what it is. And the running back position is one of those elements to it. You got to have a good run game. And, and like you said, sir, we've got to do it all. And you got to be in there and be able to stick your nose in there and take on big tackles or defensive ends, be able to catch the ball, be able to run in between the tackles. So we have a lot of value that we add to a team, and to see that diminished, and to see it say, hey, we can go pick up anybody off the street and let them run the ball, and we'll do fine. I think that just dilutes it for all of us. And the ones that really have paved the way and worked real hard at their craft to do what they do in the league, it's just a sad day where they don't get acknowledged for it.
As we get ready to wrap up with you, James, I have to ask. I know obviously you follow the Jaguars, but that other team that you played for in the National Football League is who the Jaguars will be doing joint practices with next week up in Detroit, that, of course, being the Lions, and then preseason game number 2. Number 1, do you still follow the Lions as closely? Because I know they're another big sleeper pick that everybody's talking about that could potentially break out in 2023, but also joint practices. You like that? Maybe not so much, having those opportunities.
I like it. I like when we had joint practices. It just breaks up the monotony of just going against our guys all the time, doing stuff with our guys all the time. I liked it. And as far as Detroit, yeah, they're up and coming, and I still watch them occasionally. They're right around what the Jags are. They've got a good quarterback. They've got good weapons. They've got a good run game. They got a good defense. So, to go against guys that are similar like you, it just makes you better. And I think this will be good joint practice between the two. And I look for both teams to really excel this year and push everybody else in the AFC and in the NFC.
All right, James, how do you feel about Joe Milton, your quarterback with the Vols? And
I'm ready.
And what's the ceiling for the Vols right now?
Listen, we can, look, if we can get our defense to play a little bit more sounder defense and get our run game going, I think with him, he throws such a beautiful ball. I watched him against Clemson in the bowl game. He just really opened my eyes up to like, hey man, we got another one stepping right in there who can take the helm and can lead this team hopefully to the SEC championship and further.
Beautiful. Do you get back up there from time to time, and what do you think of Coach Heupel? Because he's definitely done a good job so far.
Well, I get up there occasionally, but the thing about it with all good coaches, they can galvanize a team. That's it, simply as that. If you have a coach that players want to play for, and like we used to say in the old days, want to run through a brick wall for, you'll get the best out of all your athletes, and I think that's what he's done up there at Tennessee.
Okay, don't be biased. I'm going to ask you this question. 1998 Vols versus 2001 Canes. Who win? Come on now. They listen, that took too long. You already know the answer.
Why you put me on the spot? I'm going to always go with my balls, bro, because I'm a homer.
That's right. As you should.
That would have been a great game.
I expect
but
nothing
I'm always
less.
going to be a homer, bro.
Absolutely. I expect nothing less, bro.
And real quick before you go, are you still training? And is it Studio 33? Are you still working, and working with individuals?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm still training, man. I'm in 10 years straight now.
Awesome.
But, yeah, still getting it, still working, bro.
I love it. Well, listen, hopefully we'll be able to grab you back from time to time, but continued success in 33 days. We couldn't help but think of you and try and get you on.
All right, man. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. James Little Man Stewart.
Little Man.
Yep. Studio 33 is what he's got cooking. I'll tell you what, there are certain guys that stay in shape. You can think of Greg Jones. You can think of James. I mean, they're fit individuals.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of running back would you describe Little Man as?
Little Man, if I was to compare them to someone today, he'd be like maybe Alvin Kamara.
So you do think he was more of that versatile?
He was
he was bigger.
But you could see him turn the corner and those knees kicking.
Yeah.
And he was a tough man to bring down.
He was.
I don't know who ever he.
I'm trying to compare him to somebody here today.
He had good size.
Yeah,
Right,
really.
he was-
he's
yeah.
way bigger than Alvin Kamara. I'm just trying to figure out.
And he was drafted, with the intention
I'll tell you
of
this.
by Coughlin
I'll
that
tell
he
you
would
this.
be more of a between the tackles type of guy.
Yeah.
I'll throw Tank Bigsby right at you.
Right.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And I want to see what he looks like, obviously, but that's the style that you see that you could easily picture James Stewart back in the day. And that's when Trader Tom got his nickname, because he moved up to get him and was maneuvering in that draft to get Little Man along with Vaselli and all that.
I'm glad you made that comparison because what I was going to ask Leon, to your point about is he more like a Kamara or how would you describe him? Coming out of college, 4 seasons at Tennessee, James Stewart, 54 receptions in his career, 54 receptions in the receiving game. When he got to Duval, he had 51 receptions in the first 2 seasons. And now we pair that with, let's look at Tank Bigsby when he was in college. So what was the knock on him, Matt, coming out of Auburn? Doesn't have good hands.
He just wasn't part of the pass game. Yeah.
Wasn't part of the pass game. He had 62 receptions in 3 seasons, which is a little bit more and speaks to the nature of offense in 2022. But also that was what I've seen time and time again on the timeline from Auburn fans, that if he had an offensive line and if he was able to haul in passes and if he stays in bounds against Alabama, this guy is a first, second round pick. So
but to be fair to Tank, really, in all these college guys, is the running back's a different position in the NFL. They treat it differently in the pass game than they do in the college game. They always have, really.
Well, but just look at her numbers in what they did back then versus what they asked the running back to do.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't automatically assume any running back in college is not a guy that you can feature in the pass game just because he only had 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 career catches over 4 years. They don't use the running back in the college game. It's a different type of RPO/spread system that they use. They don't use the running backs. Whereas in the NFL, they are typically your all right, first, second, third progression, all right, back. And sometimes they'll way more than college football. They'll get him on the outside and get him alone and try and make get a matchup.
Does Blake Corum have good hands? Is he a good receiving back?
They don't throw it to him.
Is that why
different offense.
They don't throw it to Donovan Edwards either.
Because he's still the number 4 overall player in PFF's top 10.
He's a really, really good player. I don't think he's number 4 overall.
I bring it up only because I do want to circle back to that coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to look at the NFL player-voted top 10 players in the National Football League, because I know Leon has some feelings and some thoughts on that list. And then we will circle back to PFF's top 100 college players, because some notable omissions, Josie and Matt, were outraged that were not featured when we rattled off that list at the end of yesterday's program. It's XL Primetime.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
Turn on the radio.
In your car, 92.5 FM and 1010 AM.
Would you like to drive for a while?
In your house, at the beach, on your phone, at the gym, on vacation, out of town.
Well, everyone knows that.
Download our free 1010XL app for all smart devices.
Wood floors should make your home look cozy and inviting. But old, worn-out floors can look kinda, Let Renew Solutions give your floors a stunning makeover. For a no-obligation appointment, visit renewjacksfloors.com.
Come to Bowden Eye for all your eye care needs. Hicken here. Did you know that diabetes is a leading cause of blindness and affects up to 34 million Americans? Please don't take diabetes lightly. If you have diabetes, see your favorite Bowden Eye doc and save your vision. Bowden Eye is dedicated to the protection and preservation of the treasured gift of sight. Bowden Eye & Associates. Visit today for your personal consultation. Keeping the First Coast focused. New location now open off County Road 210 in St. Johns County.
Active and pain-free. That's the ticket. Dr. George Barry here, and I know that's the goal of every patient I see. They want the best possible care so they can go back to enjoying life. That could be pick up basketball, golf, tennis, running, or just working out. It all requires you to be as healthy as you can be. If joint pain is taking its toll on your active lifestyle, come see me at Barry Orthopedics. We have locations all over Jacksonville and can diagnose and treat even the most severe joint pain. A homegrown Jacksonville practice. Find out more at barryorthopedics.com.
At Ratify Credit Union, we know that empowered people do powerful things. Big things, crazy things, wonderful things. And that's why we're here. To find ways to say yes, to make banking easy, and to help you make waves. So whatever crazy idea is in the back of your mind, we've got the banking how-to to go with your why not. Banking, lending, savings, empowering. Find it at ratifycu.org. Ratify Credit Union. Make waves. Insured by NCUA.
The Internal Revenue Service is reported to be receiving $80 billion in additional funding for the 2022 tax year for unpaid tax enforcement. There has never been a budget increase this large in the history of the IRS. All of this funding is for more revenue officers and collecting delinquent taxes. If you owe the IRS, you have a short time to get your tax issues resolved or face financial devastation. J. Davis Tax Law is right here in Jacksonville and provides tax relief for all personal payroll and sales tax problems. They've achieved thousands of successful outcomes for their clients, and that's why their reputation speaks for itself. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, do your research to see why J. David Tax Law is the most effective option to relieve your tax burden. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777 or at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 25th and 26th. Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400, August 26th. Who was on the pole position for last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010. Who was on the pole position for last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010 for your chance to win.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball has cooler promotions, but some people call them ice chests. Either way, check out the items you can put your company logo on at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 11. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 and weekends. That's Bellwether Downtown.
Summer Nights, presented by One to One Financial, is an evening affair benefiting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Saturday, August 26th. Enjoy an evening at the beautiful Glass Factory as you sip premium cocktails, dance the night away with live swing music from Bold City Classics, taste delicious dishes from local restaurants, and win exciting auction packages. For details and tickets, go to tinyurl.com/2023 Summer Nights.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kids Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Life a little expensive right now? If you need cash, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is ready to buy. Gold, silver coins, and flatware, guitars and guns. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn wants to buy them. See Chuck and get extra cash only at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. We are approaching 3 weeks until the Gators kick off the 2023 season at Utah. Billy Napier asked this week about the progress of the Gators' downfield passing game.
Yeah, I've been very pleased. I think the young receivers in particular, I think, are adding a dimension to our team. And I think we've seen some players emerge and improve. Yeah, I've been very pleased with that. I think we're making progress in that area.
Florida head coach Billy Napier will now 3 weeks from Thursday kick off the season at Utah. The Utes came out yesterday 14th in the coaches poll in college football. It's 94 degrees at 104. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
We are cranking along on a beautiful Tuesday. It is warm. That heat index is up there. That heat warning is up there. So make sure you hydrate. Doesn't matter if you're out and about. And I think of all the roofers, the lawn guys, the guys that are just slaving away. My American Electrical boys, if they're in one of those houses trying to wire it up, all of them, make sure that you hydrate, take care of yourself. We love you nooners right here in Duval. We don't want anything to happen to you. That's for sure, because it is hot. Beavers Toyota, Beavers Chevy, they bring you today's show Tuesdays right here on XL Primetime. They got stuff cranking as well. Make sure you check them out online or on the lot if you want a great deal and a great ride. Now, we finished up the noon hour talking to James Littleman Stewart, and he kind of hit us on both fronts, the Jaguars and the Tennessee Volunteers, and he loves what he sees from Joe Milton. We're going to find out whether or not, the guy's for real and all that kind of stuff. We'll hit you with some SEC chatter coming up here in just a little bit, and some ACC chatter as well, but the ones that we're going to bring up later are going to be football related. But let's just do alignment talk just for a second now.
Can I give you an SEC, an important cultural breaking news from the SEC?
Cultural.
Yes. Can we hit it? Can we hit that for this?
Right,
I think this is important.
All right, Gibby, hit it. Give us a that for this one.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Considering I had some Auburn fans on the text line already trying to troll me in the first hour, you'll be happy to hear this, War Eagle. The rolling of 2 Auburn Oaks at Toomer's Corner can officially commence once again after a 6-year-long break. Auburn University released a press release this morning saying the Oaks are now established enough for the tradition to return. Mm-hmm. The original Oaks, planted between 1937 and 1939, were removed, of course, from the corner in 2013 after they were poisoned in 2010.
Yeah, the who was it? Harvey Updike, is that right? Yeah. Just a savage move on his part, and I've tried to keep trees alive, so I know exactly what they're going through, trying to make sure that it lives, and those did not. It's good to hear that, though. They'll be able to TP those trees at Toomer's Corner once again, which will be awesome. All right, alignment, Matt. I started off the show seeing my APCC conference logo still has life because the Atlantic Coast Conference has now reached out to the Pacific Coast and at least reached out to Cal and Stanford as possibly bringing them into the conference.
So the Big Ten's not going to take them. That's number one. That's basically was decided today at a meeting.
Yeah, they decided to stop at 70 teams instead of going to 72.
Here's the thing. There are two ways to look at this. The ACC is not this great, wonderful conference that's trying to save Stanford and Cal. The ACC is trying to save its own ass. So by adding Stanford and Cal, they get the automatic pro rata kick-in on their contract, which means ESPN's going to owe them a pro rata adjustment to the contract of it's $34 million annually. It's basically what it is in the ACC, somewhere around there. Okay, mid-30s per team. So the ESPN will kick in another $68-70 million for these two teams. All right,
just by adding two teams, they have to kick in that money.
Yes, it's per the contract. It was the same way with the Big 12. That's how the Big 12 got the 16. Same way with the Big 10. That's how they're adding the teams. Same way with the SEC with Texas and Oklahoma. Although when that happened, Sankey said, it's going to cost you a little more than that because it was considered pro rata plus because the two teams were elite properties. All right, so you add Stanford and Cal. You're not going to give Stanford and Cal a $34-35 million each gift because right now Stanford and Cal are looking at the Mountain West, which pays out last year $5.6 million.
Right. They're basically
they're
twisting in the
done
wind.
right now. They're twisting in the wind. They need help. All right. So then the question becomes, how do you get them there? You get them there by offering them, I don't know, $12-13 million each, and then what you do is you take the rest of that money, $20 million,
right,
$22 million, times 2, which is $44 million. You throw that in your little kitty that you've decided to have for the best team in the ACC or the teams that win 10 games or whatever those little, ideas they came up with in the spring meetings.
So the FSUs and Clemsons that are complaining.
To keep FSU, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina happy. Right.
Right.
So
I named the two that I think can win the conference. I didn't name the other two.
Right. So in other words, that
was a back
that little kitty that they have to give more money to the schools that are have more games in prime time, have the 4 million rating games.
Right.
That just gives you more money for that kitty, and it can increase the payout. Now the question then becomes is what does Stanford and Cal do about their minor sports? Stanford, I believe, has 32 Olympic sports, 32 total sports, but there's no way their Olympic sports are traveling across country every single time. So then what do? Does it become a situation where it's just Stanford and Cal football only, and then they use their Olympic sports teams or even their basketball and baseball? Then they're in a situation where they're playing all West Coast teams.
Right.
Is it a situation where ESPN says, no, we're not doing just football. It's got to be football, basketball, both basketballs and baseball.
Right.
Then you're talking about 4 sports that are going to have to travel across country. It's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Then that's probably a $3 or $4 million, $5 million tab right there. So then if you're Stanford and Cal and you get $12 million each or $10 million each, is it worth it to do all that travel to get the $5 million you're going to get anyway at the Mountain West?
And by the way, we haven't
$5 million clear, I should say.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned the athlete yet. So listen to Elijah Drinkwitz, okay? Listen to Elijah Drinkwitz, Missouri Tiger head football coach, who actually has some compassion for the other athletes on the campus.
My question is, did we count the cost? I'm not talking about a financial cost. I'm talking about, did we count the cost for the student athletes involved in this decision? What cost is it to those student athletes? We're talking about a football decision. They based off football, but what about softball and baseball who have to travel cross country? Do we ask about the cost to them? Do we know what the number one indicator of symptom or cause of mental health is? It's lack of rest and sleep. Traveling in those baseball, softball games, those people, they travel commercial. They get done playing at 4. They got to go to the airport. They come back. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. They got to go to class. I mean, did we ask any of them?
Listen, student-athlete, the word student-athlete has been eradicated.
Mm-hmm.
Know why? Because of money. Everybody's grabbing the bag. I understand exactly what the coach is saying. Classes, midterms, papers, study hall. I mean, all that, no one seems to care about the fact that these athletes, I'm going to call them student athletes, have to deal with the rigorous schedule of travel, keeping their grades up, passing.
And being good players.
And being good players to stay eligible. So listen, I know how hard it was for me to be an athlete when I was at Miami. It's nothing in comparison to what these players are having to do with right now. But because of the amount of money these universities and they're making, the whole student athlete term should just be eradicated because they don't seem to care.
Heck,
they don't seem to care. They care more about the money than they act. And the coach was talking about the mental health. There's a lot of these athletes have to deal with the mental strain of classes and being eligible and staying on the team and competing at the highest level. Where's the compassion for those athletes that are having to deal with that?
And like the commercial always says, 1% will turn pro. 1%.
So
and all those other ones got to figure out they have to get the class.
I agree with what Leon's saying. Okay, I don't think there's any question about that. But this is a 3-pronged problem. All right, and I don't see how else you look at it. This is players, universities, television, and they're all feeding off each other.
Yeah,
and they're all looking out for money. Now the players want money because they want to earn, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, television wants the money because they want the games and the best teams because they want to sell ad dollars. They need ads to make money. Okay, the universities want the best teams because, and here's the key right here. They now see the future. The future is pay for play. They're going to have to pay the players.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to put themselves in positions as conferences to be able to generate the most revenue they can. That's why they went to 12 teams in the playoff. That's why you're seeing now, I don't even think this is realignment. I actually think it's contraction more than anything. You're literally getting a select group of teams and a select group of conferences that will be able to afford to pay players. That's coming. So I think at the end of the day, I agree with what you're saying, Leon, but at the end of the day, they're not only going to have the NIL, which is free and clear, and it's wide open and there are no restraints on it, they're also going to have pay for play. They will get paid to play. There's no doubt about that.
Listen, I understand.
There will be revenue sharing.
I understand exactly what you're saying. They've got to generate enough money to where they got to pay these players. But just like you said before you said all that, out of all this money that's being accumulated and all these players that you're dealing with, 1% go pro. What about the other 99%?
They're going to get paid. That's kind of the reason.
Yeah, but they're going to get paid. Yeah, but
how much?
How much? And then listen, you read my book. All right, listen, I was a grown-ass man. I didn't know how to handle millions of dollars, and I was in the so you're trying to tell me that a 17, 18, 19-year-old who's going to be paid this money is going to know how to allocate that money, put it away, and save it?
Well, I think what most universities will do is they'll have some kind of financial.
I bet you they don't. But go ahead.
I'm sure that because they do it now. A lot of them do it now. I think what you'll have is
producing sports.
Yes.
For the other one.
No, I think it's any student athlete.
Yeah.
Because they all can use NIL now.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they have these little classes like the Dave Ramsey financial peace things, classes like that. So you have to understand when I say they're going to pay these guys, they're going to get paid. They're going to share revenue. It's not going to be like they get an extra $3,000 on their $5,000 stipend. I mean, they're going to get $25,000, $30,000 each.
Yeah, let me repeat. Revenue-producing athletes will get paid that amount of money. The bottom of the volleyball team, golf
they're still
team,
they'll get paid
country,
too.
Not going to get paid the same amount.
No, but they don't produce the same revenue.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to get paid.
And then,
but they're still going to get paid. They're still going to get paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's going to be a morsel either. I think it's going to be a lot more than you think. So if you ask me, Leon, are players going to be happy with getting paid $20,000 a year? Yeah. Or $25,000 or $30,000 extra, not including to whatever they can make at NIL. Yeah, I think they'll be really happy about that.
Now, how much of that do you think they're going to be able to keep by the time they graduate?
Well, it's up to them.
No, it's going to be.
It's individual decisions.
Yeah,
you want to keep it or don't you?
But not only up to them, but then it's going to be up to whoever Tom, Dick, and Larry that they hire financially, who's going to be stealing from them on the backside because they're coming. The pariahs are coming.
Of course they are, but my point is, you can teach them. You can lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink it. You can teach them all you want about monetary decisions and what you do with your money. At the end of the day, it's up to them. And by the way, that 20,000 number is probably a little low. It's probably going to be a little more than that.
Yeah, listen, if that's happening to
because if you're talking about
producing sports, I'm all for it.
You're talking about
I'm skeptical.
$5+ billion annually, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Revenue sharing from that.
It'd be awesome.
So I promise I was allowing the church, the sermon to be had on the front of the players and the student athletes themselves. But I want to bring this back to the bigger picture of this notion of if you go to the Mountain West, if you're Stanford and Cal, you make $5 million annually in television revenue and you become irrelevant. If you get into the ACC or the Big 12, you suddenly find yourself back somewhat in the same ballpark as you previously were. The reason I bring that up, have you had a chance yet to read the Athletics deep dive into Rutgers and the Big 10 and the fact that beginning in 2020, Rutgers reported more than $69.8 million in combined losses to the NCAA. Mm-hmm. Part of that is, of course, when Rutgers was admitted to the Big 10 back in 2012,
right, they didn't make all their money.
They were not going to make all the money initially. Rutgers, of the Big 10's 13 public universities, 9 of those 13 schools receive minimal or no funding from the university, state, or from student fees. Over the last 8 years, Rutgers has received nearly $240.8 million in direct university or state funding from student fees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Way more than any other school. And so that's where my question becomes, Matt, as we look at
where's that money going? And whose fault is that?
Yeah. Well, they joined a conference and didn't get paid up front. All these other, that's why we call them non-revenue producing. Not only do they not produce revenue, you got to pay for them.
Right, but my point is they're getting a full share now. It's number one.
Now they are.
Number two, they're getting all this money outside of the Big Ten. At the end of the day, it comes down to how do you financially control yourself?
Yeah.
How do you deal with the money?
Here's the quote, and I love this. This is from an econ professor at Rutgers who says it's sort of like the guy who thinks, well, I'm going to get a raise next year so I can go out and spend freely this year.
Right.
You're constantly chasing after next year's raise. So the reason I bring this up is you look at some of these other schools, or heck, you look at Florida State and this notion of we're going to take out a line of credit and we'll pay it back eventually, and that's how we'll get out of the ACC. I say this as a warning to Florida State, but also to these remaining Pac-12 schools of it's not just, I'm going to join this conference and I'm going to get all the money and it's going to solve all the problems.
Yeah, but if they go somewhere else, they will disappear.
Not only that, well, the difference also is Stanford has an endowment that they can take care of their minor sports. They're not going to cut sports.
Right.
Cal also has endowments that they could probably take care of that.
Yeah, the answer to all this, though, is they're having to pay something that does not create revenue. And little by little, that's why you have the erosion. And you say it's their fault. No, that they're trying to fund all these other sports that have been mandated, that you have them all on your campus.
Even when Stanford was winning Pac-12s and going to the Rose Bowl, I remember going out there in a game when they were 8-1 or 9-1 and playing Notre Dame. 12,000 people there.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So it's at some point it's also that either you have a community that's into the games and wants to spend money on it, or you don't.
Right. Yeah. All right, we'll keep it going. You guys can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures 641-1010. Your thoughts on that, and also we'll start to skate around NFL training camps too coming up.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
I was overwhelmed by the power of this place. But I made a mistake, too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now.
1010XL.
Mia here, and boy, do I have a story for you. Last weekend's gnarly storms flooded my entire front and backyard and completely knocked out my AC. No way an air conditioning tech would come to my house on a Sunday, right? Wrong, because I called my friends at Duck Duck Rooter AC. Jeff and Heather had a highly skilled technician en route to my house within 2 hours. So be like me and contact Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning today at 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to join me and the legends of the PGA Tour for the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K, October 2 through 8 at Timaquana Country Club. Public parking is free, along with complimentary tournament access for our military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Go to Ticketmaster to get your tickets today. And if you're not traveling to London, but watch the Jags this fall, join us Sunday morning in the Publix Tailgate Village to catch the game on the big screen. For more information, visit ConstellationFuryk&Friends.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This is Dr. Chris Swanson. When your sports injuries flare up, come where athletes are treated like pros. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is Berlin Dormany, head coach and athletic director of Trinity Christian Academy. We're proud of our relationship with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Take it from us at Trinity Christian. When you need orthopedic care, call on Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 8, 1992, the original Dream Team win basketball gold at the Olympics 117-85, featuring Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley.
Ackerman Urology is now servicing the Beaches community. If you have elevated PSA, prostate, bladder, or kidney issues, plan to see the experts at Ackerman Urology right away at the new location on Atlantic and Hodges Boulevard.
Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. August 12th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. With special guest, the Baseball Project. Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. Buy tickets at the box office or Ticketmaster.com. Weather Vanes, out now.
Whether you are looking for a job or an employer trying to hire, there's only one stop in Jacksonville, Remedy Staffing. Labor trends keep us guessing. As employers, the job market's been strong. So what does that mean for workers' availability? If you're interested in the workforce solutions or how the Remedy team can help you, call or text Crystal at 904-329-9802. 329-9802, Remedy Staffing.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001. or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
The 9 after 5 rolls on at the Golf Club of Southampton, so get on the tee with me, Joe C. The XL Primetime League is in the summer stretch, and you need to be part of it. Southampton invites you to join us every Wednesday for our 9 after 5. Beat the heat and blow off a little steam with friends and family at Southampton. A great game every week, good grub afterwards, and prizes. Call 287-PLAY and get in the game every Wednesday. It's our 9 after 5 at Southampton. Call 287-PLAY.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Taking the gloves off, really decided to be uncompromising. We're holding nothing back. And we understand that requires our total focus because of the type of competitors that we want to be. We're also working on our team. I do think we've agreed to an expectation. One of the things I like about this group is they are very accountable, and I think that they care about each other.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
That's the current coach of the Florida Gators. We have some sound from the former coach talking about another former coach, courtesy of our good friends over at Saturday Down South, because Dan Mullen sharing a whole heck of a lot about his time in Gainesville, the second go-round, and perhaps a little bit more intel into the situation that Billy Napier inherited.
Yeah, I want to hear from him, and we'll get Connor O'Gara, who sat down with Dan Mullen on tomorrow, but just Billy Napier real quick. I mean, some enthusiasm, please, okay? Look, I like what he's saying. I understand that he wants total commitment, all that kind of stuff, and it is suggesting, Leon, that he's now, like, in other words, he's gone through his, you could call it probationary period, where I'm going to be a little I'm going to lay the groundwork, the foundation of what I expect, but I'm not going to demand it of you right away. And now it is go time. But come on, man, some enthusiasm.
Wait, listen, he showed a little fire. He said taking the gloves off, didn't he? I mean, that's a little fire in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he said the mundane as it, as it would ever come. But I mean, he seems to be the type of guy right now that where all the outside noise doesn't matter. I mean, Florida right now is projected to win, 5 games? Everybody's counting them out. He's got to be team-orientated. He can't care about the polls and what everybody else is saying. His focus has got to be on getting his team ready for this season, where the expectations, quite frankly, are very low. No one has Florida winning more than 6 games, So, I mean, you got to take that a little personal if you're a coach or the coaching staff, and even if you're a player. If you're a player at University of Florida and they're not thinking much of you, you got some say about it.
So, last year I said that he's got to show a little oomph, a little fire.
Just a little something.
But I will say that I've kind of changed a little bit on that.
Oh.
Because, look, at the end of the day, he's got to get players. He's got to get them to play. He's got to develop them. I mean, he doesn't have time for that other crap.
Okay, so
he literally has got to go head down, develop players, and hope for the best with this quarterback, and then get another quarterback in the portal next year, bring your freshman quarterback in, and try and, at that point, you're going to be loaded on defense. You're going to have skilled players on offense. At that point, you just then hope what you're doing developing quarterbacks-wise will develop either the other guy from the portal you get or DJ Lagway quickly enough to where you can win 10 games.
The one thing I come back at you or anybody else, and I totally get what you're saying. You've got to get the players. But the product did not look that good last year. The product better look a lot better this year, or I will be questioning his game day abilities and his ability to lead. It'll be both of them because
even if he keeps recruiting well?
Well, he's got to turn them into players.
These are all young dudes. You know that, right?
Everybody's got to make plays. Okay, I don't care how good they are, how young they are.
I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm telling you is they've got a lot of young guys that are their best players.
Right. All right. So Leon and I were talking about this.
Again, last year they went 1 deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the quote was, I don't know how many more of these guys are actually Power 5 players.
Right. And he ushered a lot of them to the bus stand and got them
26,
out of there.
I believe, or 27.
So over 2 dozen. And so that part of it's good. And so, but right now, as we just talked about, the forecasts are bleak, okay? So it's one thing to get guys out of there. And it's like I say to you guys all the time, other programs turn it around quickly, okay? Quickly. And it does seem like
the quarterback. That's the key.
Okay. But it does seem like it's a slow build. I think we can even name teams that have had good quarterbacks but have lacked in a lot of other areas, and it doesn't happen fast, okay? It just did not look good last year.
Well, let's look at TCU. TCU went from 5-7 to the national championship game with a quarterback, right? USC went from 4-8 to 1 game away from the playoff with an elite quarterback.
And
LSU.
Don't forget Lincoln. Don't forget Lincoln.
LSU went from 6-7. Hang on.
Yeah.
6-7 to play in the SEC championship game with a quarterback.
And don't forget Brian.
And the problem in Nebraska, if you're asking about Nebraska, they haven't had a quarterback in I don't know how long, 20 years.
Yeah. All I know is that
the quarterback is everything.
Both of those examples carried excellent coaches with them.
You know why? Yes, but you know why? There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But you know why Texas is not quote-unquote back? They have a quarterback.
Do they have the right coach?
You know why Texas A&M, which is literally at the top of the SEC at every other position, could be a sleeper this year? Mm-hmm. They have a quarterback now with Connor Weigman.
Yeah.
So you have to have a quarterback.
Now I'll ask you again. Do they have?
Do you know why Florida has struggled since Tebow left?
Coach?
Hang on. Do you know why Florida has struggled since Tebow left?
Well, I know
they had one quarterback. Kyle Trask.
Actually,
that's it.
Connor O'Gara's podcast reveals they actually may have had more than one quarterback.
Yeah.
Continue, Joe.
Yeah. I mean, they had bad coaching too. Okay, they had good coaching. Well,
I mean, honestly,
primarily bad.
I don't know what they had there, but we could talk all we want about Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson. Didn't happen on the field.
Yeah.
It did not happen on the field.
Exactly.
The only guy it happened with since Tebow left is Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
And Will Grier for 6 games.
Right. And heck, Dan Mullen did make something good out of Kyle Trask. He really did.
End of day, my point is he's got to get a quarterback. Mm-hmm. So he can recruit all these great players he wants, and he is recruiting good players.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get a quarterback, it's going to look ugly.
Right. All right. So let's set it up with the discussion that Dan Mullen had as far as his sit-down with Connor O'Gara, which revealed a lot of things, and we will get into a few more today and then tomorrow when we have Connor on. But set this one up, Matt, just as far as the
So this is after Timmy's Heisman season in 2007. Florida's going into 2008, which, of course, is their second national championship under Herb.
They've already won a natty.
They've got a loaded team. They've already won a natty. They've got a loaded team. Tebow won the Heisman. They're a preseason top 3 pick. And they're going into, I believe it was spring, is what the pod says. Mm-hmm. And Herb asked Dan Mullen. It always goes back to Herb, doesn't it?
Yeah,
always.
Sometimes.
You know who's our best guys at every position. Asking each position coach, who's our best guy at each position, and Mullen had an interesting answer to who the best quarterback was on the team.
The year after Tim won the Heisman, you knew he was special, right? And it was. I think it was like the year after Tim won the Heisman, right? So you're going into 2008, which was my last year there, and I remember being in a meeting, and I remember Urban saying, let's go, end of spring ball, like, all right, who's our best? We're getting whatever the meeting, going through position by position, go through the best quarterback. I said, honestly, I think Cam's the most talented quarterback. Cam might be the best quarterback, and Urban, flips out. One of those flips out. He said, "What? Tim won the Heisman last year." I said, "Well, you didn't. You just said who was the best." I said, "I think Tim gives us our best chance to win. The experience where he is right now. Tim's our starter, but you said who the best quarterback was, and I said Cam."
Well,
what was that like? Arsenio Hall from the
oh my God,
Coming to America. He ain't lying.
Yeah.
He wasn't lying.
Yeah.
I mean, the most talented guy was clearly Cam Newton.
But it's so funny the way he couched it, that Tim gives us the best chance to
win. Right, which he did, and they won the national title.
Right,
and all
so
that,
you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, what is the deciding point? Now, Cam had an unbelievable season in 2010, but so did Timmy in 27, and then followed it the next year with another. And so it is funny. We are talking about, Miss America and runner-up. Okay.
I mean, honestly, the laptop was the best thing to happen to Cam. Seriously. Because he wasn't playing there.
Right.
Tim wasn't leaving, didn't leave after winning it all again.
Yeah.
So Cam was not getting on the field there.
Yeah.
So the best thing that happened to him was the dumb decision to steal the laptop, get kicked out of Florida, go to JC, go to Auburn, boom.
Right. And he won 2 natties because he won a JUCO and
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Stetson, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. But no, and then Dan Mullen also goes into a little bit more detail if you want to promote that podcast, Matt, which of course is with Saturday Down South, and he also illuminates when asked about who he roots for. Does he root for Mississippi State? Does he root for Florida? To which he said,
he roots for his guys.
He says, I root for my guys. And he would not say he roots for Florida.
Which, to be fair, a coach who's coached at 2 different places is probably going to say the same thing. Yeah. At 2 major places.
Well, you could have said I root for both of them. He didn't say it. He said, I root for my guys. That was it. I'm telling you. Calculated.
He has some interesting takes on Anthony Richardson, on the quarterbacks there at Florida, on why it went south so quick. And it's a very, very good read, good listen, I guess is the way to put it, at the SDS podcast.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have more of that. We'll have Connor on tomorrow to talk a little bit about it. We'll bounce around some other college campuses for you, bring some other storylines up. Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles are coming to town.
They are. We're getting the finalized dates and times, but we know it'll be Thursday, Friday. We'll let you know in terms of if it'll be available to the public, which I don't think it is. It's just for media. And so we, of course, will keep you posted on the 1010XL social channels. We will have boots on the ground at Thursday and Friday's practice. Let's talk about the Noles a little bit because as we were promoting our guy, Connor O'Gara, who, again, will be joining us here on XL Primetime tomorrow, I flipped on over to his top 25 preseason in college football. He's got those Noles slated 5th in the nation. We'll discuss that and more coming up next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Summertime in your favorite city.
Damn summer day.
1010XL.
Summer day.
Your summer station.
Hey there, my taco-loving sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou in Jax Beach. It's Tuesday, and to many of you, that means one thing, tacos. At Taco Lou, we feel like every day is Taco Tuesday, except Monday, which is what makes Tuesday special for us, too. We're back, you've been patient, and now it's time to dig in, crush some tacos, and wash it all down with a cold Dos Equis. Or sip a fantastic margarita while you grind. Come in and see what's new at Taco Lou. Taco Lou in Jax Beach.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The heat is here, and it may be time for a new cooling system. Fenwick Home Services makes it easy. Their comfort consultants come to your home and examine your home's unique needs. They recommend the best cooling system for you, your family, and your home. Plus, the installation can happen as soon as tomorrow. Plus, Fenwick offers flexible financing options and an industry-leading up to 12-year warranty. Book your next install at FenwickEasyBook.com. That's FenwickEasyBook.com.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union. And that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hurricane season is here. Make sure your home is protected by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof Contracting. And right now, get 10% off roof replacement and repairs. The first 50 callers will save an additional $500 on a full roof replacement, plus flexible financing. This offer expires August 31st and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, pretty much doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Catch the Jacksonville Jaguars every day.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony talking teal every weekday from 10 to noon.
Jaguars Today
On 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carlion for Spicklemeyer Insurance Agency. I was paying too much for car insurance, paying for things I didn't need. My friend John Spicklemeyer fixed all that for me with impeccable customer service. For all your car insurance needs, call John at 471-7155.
Training camp is here, and 1010XL is there. From the practice field straight to you, nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Brought to you by Roland Leash Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Summer means kids need to and want to get out and play. I-9 Sports is ready and waiting to host kids of all ages with flag football, t-ball, basketball, and soccer. Year-round sports all across the First Coast, from St. John's to Duval to Clay. Log on to i9sports.com and sign up. And don't forget, grandparents, you can get in too by helping sign a grandkid up to have fun this summer. All the details are at i9sports.com. Enter 1010XL in the promo code for a discount.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars on their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The 2023 Jaguars wide receiver corps has the chance to be one of the best in franchise history. What does Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman think of the wide receiver group?
Look, I've been watching this football team for a long period of time, watching a lot of these teams in the division. I don't know if I've ever seen a group. I mean, you go back to Indianapolis when they had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, obviously two tremendous guys. I don't know if we've seen a group that's just as good as this. These guys are ultimate competitors, and they're about team. And if you're Trevor Lawrence, I mean, this is like utopia.
Jeff Lageman, a guest of Jaguars Today. The Jags have today off. They are back on the practice field tomorrow morning. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Everybody's out here competing. That's the one thing you've seen the dudes start to really get a grasp on, just trying to make the person in front of you better. I feel like more dudes starting to take more pride in that on both sides of the ball, just trying to give the other dude, the best look that they can. Because, I tell the guys all the time, we in this together. We lose together, we win together. So, that's everybody just been trying to push each other to that limit.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
He is not the only one, but he's one of many that Knowles fans are looking forward to seeing when practice rolls into Duval, if they get to come out and check it out, or when they take on LSU in Orlando coming up Labor Day weekend. That is Johnny Wilson, and he's one of a couple of big-time playmakers on the offensive side that Knowles fans are looking forward to. Another guy that came in through the transfer portal and has made plays for them. And now you got Coleman they're going to add to the other side, two big receivers. And so it kind of gets us to FSU, and Mike Norvell said it, just basically this team has got to prove that they can turn the corner on both sides of the football. And, Leon, that big game, even though we have already said LSU might be able to afford to lose that game and still make it into the college football playoff because they have to go through the SEC. I don't know if Florida State can afford to lose that game and make it to the CFP.
Well, I mean, it's because of ACC. The SEC, LSU could lose this game and could still with their schedule ahead of them, with the Alabamas ahead of them, the Texas A&Ms. I mean, they still have an opportunity. With Florida State in the ACC, the only other big game, quite frankly, is what? Clemson, maybe, Clemson.
Well, Florida, of course.
But inside the conference, that's going to be a mammoth game, Matt. Mammoth.
Yeah, it's going
late
to
in the year.
I actually think they can afford to lose it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Because they can and still claim the ACC.
So I think they can afford to lose it with a couple caveats. Okay, I think they got to play well in it. They can't get blown out. It can't be 38-7.
It can be
Right?
another missed extra point at the end.
Yeah.
Let's say they lose by a touchdown or something. Okay, that's one caveat. The other is LSU's got to be really, really good. So if LSU wins the SEC and goes to the playoff, and Florida State's only loss is by a touchdown or less to a team that's in the playoff,
and they win their conference,
they win out and win their conference. Yeah, I think so. So I don't. I guess my point is I don't think that game could hurt either team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's
chances
good.
of getting the playoff.
I like hearing that because I do. I take a look at all the other teams that possibly can be in this conversation. What happens to them will have a say in deciding.
There's too much uncertainty right now. I don't think you're going to have unbeaten teams.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have multiple one-loss teams,
Right.
and then you say, okay, well, what has Florida State done? All right, well, they won the ACC. They beat Clemson. You don't know what happens to the rest of that league. There may be a couple teams that play well.
But it's so funny.
North Carolina may be a 10-win team.
Yeah.
You beat North Carolina, then you win the ACC championship game. And then you're in a situation where you barely lost to LSU, and you've won out. You've won your conference. You've got one loss.
And LSU is also in the playoff
Yeah,
field.
and it's your resume
It's the
against
team that you faced, yeah.
against the Pac-12 team's resume.
But it's funny because we always talk about this. Oh, the only conference that could have a one-loss team make it in, or even a two-loss team is the SEC. That's how most people view it. But you are correct that if those others step up, then it's going to be quality win after quality win.
I want to go back to Johnny Wilson for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
We've spent a lot of time discussing here in Jacksonville, will there be enough catches to go around? Could Christian Kirk and Zay Jones have those same astronomical number of catches as they did a year ago with the addition of Calvin Ridley? Evan Ingram, can he top the 70-catch mark again? Do you know how many catches Johnny Wilson had last year as Florida State's leading receiver?
I don't know, but he probably, they spread it around a little bit, but he led them. So
43.
Yeah, I was going to say 50, so 43. 43.
43.
Okay.
43,
All right.
yes. And then, sorry if you're watching on YouTube as I made a big gesture there. We've got some visitors working on another roundtable podcast right now in the TV studio. But no, so 43 for Johnny Wilson, 32 for Micah Pittman, the younger brother of Michael Pittman, who has since left the Knowles and is now transferred once again. 30 for Ontario Wilson, 21 for Cam McDonald, 24 for Lawrence Toafila.
Yeah, so they just kept spreading
They
it out.
spread it
Johnny
around,
was
but
their
it's
big
like
target.
it's just surprising to me. I expected, as much as, yes, they share the ball, and you look at Ja'Kai Douglas got 10, and there's guys that you've heard their name before because, 2 of his 10 catches were touchdowns. I just expected, Matt, the numbers to be more astronomical, especially with the lofty expectations for what this offense can do in 2023.
Well, the key for them now is they have Keon Coleman now. Keon Coleman is the real deal. I keep saying that he's, they got him late because he left Michigan State late. He's a guy that wanted to play at Florida State coming out of high school, but he went to Michigan State because he believed that Mel Tucker could get him in the NFL faster than Florida State could because, quite frankly, the situation that the Florida State program was in. So now he leaves Michigan State. He's going to stay in college one more year. He is a legit dude on the outside, a legit number one. So you got him. That's really, really going to help Florida State. So would Jaheim Bell. They've just got a lot of guys right now around Jordan Travis who you saw him at ACC media days. He looks fantastic.
He added 15 pounds of muscle.
He's gonna play really well this year. So they've got a lot of talent around him.
Yeah.
A lot of talent. And they picked up a couple offensive linemen. They got 2 really good defensive linemen. Braden Fisk from Western Michigan's a dude. The big interior guy. They did lose, however. Jackson, the kid from Miami, did not his waiver did not go through, so he cannot play for them this year.
Okay.
Daryl Jackson, the defensive lineman from Miami. Right. But still, they've got a lot going on that's very good.
Yeah,
and that offense is going to be just as good, if not more dangerous this year.
Yeah, because it's not just Benson in the backfield. They have multiple guys that are going to come out of the backfield.
Yeah.
And here, Noel fan, what Matt said, Coleman will be a number one, which means Johnny's got to take a little bit of a back seat.
Johnny's not a number one anyway. He's just a big dude.
Targets.
Yeah.
But honestly, he became a little bit of a favorite target or a bailout target.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's
All right,
he's not really a one.
Here's Mike Norvell, real quick, on just fall practice in general, just getting everything going again and trying to get out there and put a good product on the field.
A lot of things we're going to have to clean up and correct, but I really like the intent, the purpose, the way they were responding throughout practice. Both sides of the ball had good moments, but obviously it's a lot to continue to improve upon. But I mean, I thought they came out with the right mindset. On practice 3, the offense really did some good things. First day in pads. Defense today was a nice response by them. But there's some big plays on both sides of the ball, and that's what you want to see.
More importantly, did you guys see Mike Norvell sprinting to the other side of the facility? That's the real highlight for me.
Heck, there's
Former wide receiver, baby.
Yeah, remember the one he was running? I think it might have been with Johnny Wilson last year, trying to go toe to toe with him. He still has got some quicks in him. He flat out can fly.
Regardless of if Mike Norvell can compete with current wide receivers or not, is his team, to put a bow on this, is his team, Leon, the number 5 team in the country? Do you believe right now, is Florida State the number 5 team in the country?
No, I think they're exactly where they're supposed to be. I mean, the preseason hype, all the attention, offensively, defensively. Florida State exactly where they need to be. I'm happy that they're there. They're number 5.
They're 8th in the coaches preseason.
They're 5th in Connor O'Gara's that I teased to from earlier on Saturday down south.
And so he puts them top 5.
Keep raving them. I absolutely love it. Please. I just want to be there.
Well, the funny thing is that as much as it drives your caneness crazy.
Oh, listen, I'm going to have to go home and shower with all this Seminole love that y'all
because
showing
if
today.
you hear it, okay, you go like this. Do they have their quarterback? Check.
Yeah.
Do they have their run game? Check. Do they have the receivers? Check.
Solid offensive line, check.
Yeah.
I mean,
a
lot of people aren't talking. A lot of people aren't talking about the fact that their offensive line is solid.
Yeah.
They bring 4 starters back.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, that was a concern. Offensive line, this is not. Hey, they are the bell caliber of that offense.
Yeah, they
their
could
ability
not protect.
to run and protect.
Right,
Yeah.
they could not protect for a long time, which meant Jordan Travis plays break down, off schedule, making all these different things happen. But now he should have enough time to make plays, prove that he's a good, not a brilliant passer, but a good passer and a brilliant runner.
Well, not only that, didn't have a new offensive coordinator last year. That was who's a new.
Well, yeah, Avery had been promoted.
Yeah, he was promoted. I think he did an outstanding job
At Florida State.
At Florida State,
Atkins.
Atkins.
Atkins was then the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. It's still Norvell. It's still. Atkins does a
Still
lot of
his
the work,
play calling,
but it's still Norvell, and he'll still input
because he was the offensive line coach.
Yeah, that was promoted.
And so you're right. It's still Norvell's offense that he's running.
It's a lot like what I said A&M's probably going to be. Like, Petrino will call – no, not the dynamics.
No.
Petrino will call the plays, but Jimbo will step in and say, it's 3rd and 6, I want to run this, which is what Norvell does.
Okay, but I think it's Norvell's offense up in Tallahassee. I think Bobby Petrino is bringing his offense to College Station. I feel that way. Again, we're going to find out.
No way.
But I feel that way. Look, Jimbo at some point has got to give it up and let someone else show a style of play that can be successful in the SEC.
Well, he followed me on Twitter. Maybe I should ask him.
Who?
Petrino.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Reach out.
Who's going to be making the call? Who's calling the shots today, Ricky?
I do think it's going to be more elements of his offense. I really, really do. For him to be able to be a successful play caller, he's going to ask for that, and I think he's going to get it.
All right, Leon, before we let you go for the day and we welcome in Coach Campo, I do want to circle back to a topic we teased and that you were talking about in the pre-show meeting, which is as voted on by the players, top 10, top 20 players in the National Football League. You were a little surprised by a couple of those names.
I was.
Who in particular?
Well, I was, let me see, Trent Williams. He was not in the top 10.
He was 14.
He was 14. I think last year he might have been in the top 10 last year. I was a little surprised. Jalen Hurts was as high. Jalen Hurts was what, number 3?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3? Okay.
You have 3 Chiefs in there, Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris
Jones.
Chris Jones. Okay.
All
in the top
10?
10? Okay, I can agree upon that. Yeah.
But the Justin Jefferson was the biggest surprise for you.
Well, yeah. No, Justin Jefferson, he's legit. He was at number 2, right behind Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I was just a little surprised that Trent Williams wasn't in the top 10 as he was last year. And Aaron Donald, he was what, number 11? He slid a little bit. He slid down a little bit, whatever. But listen, the Chiefs, they're the team to beat. They're perennial on both sides of the. Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelsey. If you don't neutralize those guys, you have absolutely no shot of winning.
3 quarterbacks in the top 10, by the way, and they're all, 4. Forgot Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts comes in at 3.
Yeah.
Mahomes at 1, Burrow at 6, Josh Allen at 8.
Okay. All right.
It's funny, like LT, everyone's got to put a different one up there.
Well,
you know who the stars are.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Joe about it today in the production meeting. It was an interesting thing that was on CBS Sports that came up there. They said that debut quarterbacks that lost their Super Bowl never repeated back. So when you think about it, the Joe Burrows and the Jalen Hurts of the world, and they went way back to Stan Humphries and Neil O'Donnell. So they said losing quarterbacks in the Super Bowl that debuted, they said there were 17 quarterbacks who never made it back, 17 in a row.
That's a saucy nug. Do we have I hope we have the saucy nug sound effect, because that is certainly one.
Saucy nugs. If history is to repeat itself, that means that Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts would never, ever see the Super Bowl again.
Never get back.
Saucy nugs.
It took me I've got the list, and we'll have to go through it another time. But it is crazy.
It is.
And every player that gets there says, what, Leon? I'll be back.
Yeah.
Right? You know that feeling? I
know that feeling. When we lost Super Bowl to Campo's Cowboys, I just knew I was going to be back. I was fresh in the league. I'm coming back. Never.
I think that's a perfect segue. You've got to step away while he steps in.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
While he steps in. Super Bowl champ that he is. Super Bowl runner-up.
3-time Super Bowl champ.
All right, we'll head into the 2 o'clock hour. Big Search, thanks, man.
You got it.
All right, he steps out.
We're going to say hello to Coach Campo. Also got to make sure we hear from Elijah Cooks, the wide receiver out of San Jose State, undrafted free agent I got to catch up with at practice yesterday. And I know he's a guy that Coach Campo is going to break down that depth chart for us. He's a guy he's got his eye on because he is a bigger-bodied receiver. And as our boy Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union noted, the Jaguars' top 3 wide receivers, one's under 6 foot in Christian Kirk, 6'1", Calvin Ridley, 6'2", Zay Jones.
And I kind of feel like Doug Peterson zeroed in on that, too, with one of his sound bites, which we might play again as well, because he made the point of that size guy, which he likes. All right, we'll do that all coming up. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. You can count on them every day of the week and online. Go shop in the virtual way, beaverchevrolet.com, beavertoyotastAugustine.com. As we welcome our head coach. We're going to take a look at that depth chart with Coach Campo coming up.
Bad. Real bad.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. How can you describe Lauren Brooks?
At 16, she won the gold, turned pro, and was named one of Barbara Walters' most fascinating persons of 1994.
Lauren Brooks, afternoons with Frank Frangie and Hayes Carline.
You like strong women. I've done my homework.
On 1010XL.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
If you're living with heart disease and surgery is necessary, a top-rated heart surgery program is available to you at Baptist Health. The team at Baptist has the highest rating for heart bypass surgery by the Society of Thoracic Surgeons, the gold standard for quality and safety ratings. Ask your doctor to learn more or visit baptistjax.com/heart.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Introducing the latest menu addition at your neighborhood Woody's Barbecue. Now you can get fried chicken and fried pork. Whoa, Nelly!
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400, August 26th at Daytona. Who was on the pole position for last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for a chance to win.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
Beat the heat at Best Bet. We're paying out over $600,000 during the month of August with events like our $1,500 high hands. The action is on fire and there are tons of daily poker tournaments going on all month long. Come play the hottest games, including Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker, 1-card poker, DJ Wild, and Pai Gow. Stay cool this month at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Your Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium, and we can't wait to see you there. Deciding on your favorite matchup has never been easier with a bundle at the bank. Purchase tickets to 3 or more games, starting at just $58 per game. As a bundle purchaser, you receive exclusive access to Jaguars and Daly's Place pre-sales, discounts on single game tickets, and so much more. But seats are selling fast, so lock them in now. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. Former Gators head coach Dan Mullen was a guest of the Saturday Down South podcast with Connor O'Gara. And Dan Mullen made some eyebrow-raising comments about his time at Florida.
The thing, I guess, in Florida is I also knew what I was walking into, that they were 20 years behind in college football, in everything. They were just behind. So you could compete to win, but it was going to take a couple years to get the program to championship level, because you have no facilities. You have nothing to recruit to. In today's college football that kids are interested in.
Dan Mullen with the Saturday Down South podcast, that with Connor O'Gara. 95 degrees at 2:05. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Let's welcome in XL Primetime's coach, Dave Campo.
Our man is in the house. The 2 o'clock hour is hit. A Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday. We are definitely happy to be here. And we probably need to talk to Coach because we've been talking about FSU in Florida, and we were debating whether an FSU loss to LSU would knock them out of the national championship, which led a Gator fan to go, or excuse me, an FSU fan to ask about the Gators, does the loss to Utah hurt Florida's chance to make it to the playoff? So they're all having fun on the text line. But let's talk some Jaguar football, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I don't even have anything to say today.
No. Oh my God.
You guys had a heck of a show going. There's
Yeah.
nothing even to say. You're perfect.
Well, we've been having fun, batting it around. But,
Absolutely.
Both sides are highly offended at our commentary, be it a
Of
Gator
course.
or a
Yeah.
Nolan.
Well, hey, listen, Florida State. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, they said they think now that we're bashing Gators and lauding Knowles, but
Right.
That's where we are. That's where we are. All right, so before we get into the depth chart, a week of practice since we, from Thursday until now, since we last talked to you. What have you seen? What have you liked?
Well, first of all, I love it when they go live,
Mhm.
and obviously they did that, and I like the fact that he stressed them for 3 days in the pads, and so you got a lot of one-on-one, both pass rush from the backs and the linebackers with the rush up front and with the one-on-one with the DBs, and that was enjoyable watching them, and I'll tell you what, the one thing that shows up to me more than anything else is the overall team speed. The speed of this team is faster than they've been.
Right.
And I think that goes back even into the young guys coming in. So I think the thing that I think is going to be a factor in the long run is I think the team is more of a team than they've been all the way through the roster. Whoever's on that 53 is going to be a player that can come in and, in my opinion, and at least show up, to where you've got a chance to win. And I think that's really important if you're going to make a deep run because, in this league, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when somebody's going to get banged up or, we have some guys a little long in the tooth, Sheriff, and guys like that.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you got some guys that can play.
Remember this time last year when we were worried about will they be able to create separation at wide receiver? Do they actually have any speed that Urban Miller used to talk about? And obviously here we are. Coach, rank for me your position battles. What is the position groups that you say this is as great a depth, as great a competition for 1 to 2 spots as I've seen?
Well, I think the 6th receiver spot, if you consider Agnew in that group.
The 4, yep.
Yeah. Now the 5th and 6th, whatever they keep, is going to be a battle because I think Tim Jones, for example, has proven that he can go into a ball game and do some things. Whereas, they've got some guys like Austin and Cooks and Harris and Williams. I mean, these guys are big, tall, rangy receivers that can run. And so, I think that position is going to be the one that's going to be probably the toughest to make a final decision on, who's going to be in part of the 53. So, I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the preseason games. I did have Matt and I are always on a little bit of an edge when he said he doesn't think that the preseason is worth anything. But just from the standpoint of guys that are in the back end of the roster that have a chance maybe to do something. And I don't think you get the same level of excitement and energy and everything in practice that you do in a ball game. And I think so some of those guys, you say, well, if they're going live in practice, you can get a pretty good read on them, which is true. I thought they kicked it up in the practice when they went live than they did at any time during I'm talking about the whole team. But the preseason game gives you that, and I think that position is probably the number one, and I think the next one would probably be DBs. I think that, they're going to have some young defensive backs be able to play. And so they're going to have to make good decisions there. And a lot of both of those situations are going to come down to special teams. You're hearing guys' names that you really don't see that much. A guy like Brenny, a guy like Wilson, where the special teams coach is saying, hey, these guys are showing up and doing some stuff. So that's why you don't know 100%. If you just look at what's out there when they're going through teamwork and stuff, you really don't know necessarily who's going to be in that final 7 or 8 guys because a lot of it is going to come down to special teams.
Okay, so as a position coach, as a coordinator and as a head coach in the league, how difficult is it to kind of mesh the two of a guy has crushed it in camp practices, but he's just not showing up on the field, or a guy is really struggling in camp practice, he gets to the field and it looks like everything turns on. Like where at that point, who do you choose?
Well, first of all, I think you have to have a combination. I don't think a guy that does nothing in camp.
Well, not nothing. Nothing is too strong of a word.
Yeah.
But isn't really standing out.
I think it's what he does in the ball game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what, when the lights are on, does a guy perform? And I can guarantee you those young players, when they go into these preseason games, it's on. It's like a Super Bowl for them, and a lot of times you see a little different player there. Now, it's a body of work.
Sure.
They have to be doing something in practice to at least.
But there are guys who are quote unquote not practice guys, right?
Absolutely.
And they get to a game and it's a completely different guy.
Yeah.
The one thing you have an advantage now with the practice squad being bigger than it's ever been, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
Because a lot of there may be some guys that don't clear waivers, and you lose them. Which will have a better chance of that happening with this team than they did 2 years ago or whatever. But the majority of teams are a little hesitant to bring a guy in on their 53 when it's, early in the season. Usually it's late in the season.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you can get them on the practice squad, you got a pretty good chance of keeping them for a while and see what they can do.
Yeah, it's great that they have expanded it, that's for sure, because the Seth Williams, the Elijah Cooks, all these guys definitely have a chance to develop. All right, so let's stay on that theme. Let's hear from Cooks, one of the big wide receivers that they're trying to see.
Let's take a break first because we want to make sure we stay on time. Since I know Gibby's firing it up. It's all good, brother. We're going to come back with the Elijah Cooks interview.
That's what I was setting up.
Yes, we're going to come back with the Elijah Cooks interview. All good.
So he is one of the guys that's trying to make this roster. So let's hear from him, and then we'll get back to this depth chart with you, Coach. You got a question, you can hit us 641-1010. Hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
You're AFC South champs, baby.
It's a new season.
I like where this team's headed.
A new era.
The players here want to win.
A new hope.
I want to win.
We're all here to win.
Guys have that feeling, the taste in their mouth.
This is where the dream begins. The Dallas Cowboys. Hear it happen Saturday at 2 on 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to join me and the legends of the PGA Tour for the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K, October 2 through 8 at Timaquana Country Club. Public parking is free, along with complimentary tournament access for our military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Go to Ticketmaster to get your tickets today, and if you're not traveling to London, but watch the Jags this fall, join us Sunday morning in the Publix Tailgate Village to catch the game on the big screen. For more information, visit ConstellationFurykandFriends.com.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire additional agents for aggressive collections enforcement. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your business. There's no time to waste. Call J. David Tax Law, a firm right here in Jacksonville, for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Hey there, my taco-loving sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou in Jax Beach. It's Tuesday, and to many of you, that means one thing: tacos. At Taco Lou, we feel like every day is Taco Tuesday, except Monday, which is what makes Tuesday special for us, too. We're back, you've been patient, and now it's time to dig in, crush some tacos, and wash it all down with a cold Dos Equis. Or sip a fantastic margarita while you grind. Come in and see what's new at Taco Lou. Taco Lou in Jax Beach.
In your free time, the last thing you want to do is clean your house.
Right.
First Coast Home Pros offers luxurious maid services you can trust. Weekly, bi-weekly, or even one-time deep house cleaning. FirstCoastHomePros.com. FirstCoastHomePros.com.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter, Mr. Rooter. Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
David Garrard here. Once again, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has gotten me back to my active lifestyle by easing my knee pain with PRP treatment. PRP is a platelet-rich plasma concentrate that promotes tissue repair and healing and can even help alleviate pain caused from arthritis. Ask your doctor at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist if PRP may be right for you too.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
At Andy's Automotive and Truck Services, they know that your company's fleet is more than just a bunch of cars and trucks. It's your livelihood, your reputation, your pride. So when you need routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs, Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize your downtime and keep your fleet running like new. While you care for your employees and customers, rest assured Andy's Automotive will take care of your fleet. Visit the team at andysats.com.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us, but for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. What I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I've seen ads for diamonds where you see the words all diamonds certified by IGI, EGL, or GIA. The heck does all that mean?
David, it's got to be confusing because all those letters represent various diamond grading laboratories. However, it's important to point out that these labs don't issue certificates and they certify nothing. They issue diamond grading reports. Generally speaking, some of the laboratories are considered more accurate than others, and that's why at Underwoods we only use grading reports from the Gemological Institute of America, or GIA, and the American Gem Society Laboratory, or AGSL. Both of these laboratories issue grading reports on diamonds' color, clarity, and carat weight, but on round brilliant diamonds, the American Gem Society Lab assigns a cut grade composed of proportion, symmetry, and polish. The cut grade can go from the 0 ideal to a 10, which is very poor. This allows us to show a customer how these factors will affect a diamond's ability to handle light and overall affect beauty and value. So if you're shopping for a diamond and are interested in seeing the best, come by Underwoods.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
The dog days of training camp, they are here. But of course, you can keep up on everything from Jaguars training camp by visiting the 1010XL social and video channels. And we're trying to change it up each day. We're trying to get you different Jaguars who maybe you haven't heard from before. We actually just got the notice from Jaguars PR that Anton Harrison and Trayvon Walker will be at the podium tomorrow and Thursday ahead of the Jaguars' upcoming trip to Dallas. Which, speaking of Dallas, Coach, are you making the trip? I know there were rumors you may be going out there this weekend.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I just decided that I'm a Jaguar, and I didn't want to go out there and do a bunch of stuff with the Cowboys when they're playing against them.
I hope everybody, the
Wow.
Duval Nooners, hear that. That
Can we
deal
clip
is
this?
real.
He said, I'm a Jaguar.
That
We gotta
deal is
clip
real.
this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
And he's even like I don't know whether it's Michael or Tommy or whoever, but the Suns are a little bit fired up over this.
Oh, yeah. Because they are diehard. Eric, all three of them are all
They were all raised in
diehard
Dallas.
Cowboys, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
my daughter Shelby's the worst one of all of them. She gives me the business all the time, especially when I was on a podcast the other day in Dallas. And I said we when we were talking about the Jaguars.
Oh,
And
no.
right away they said, oh, it's we now down there.
Amazing. Well, hey, that's why. You know, Coach is part of our team here on XL Primetime 1010XL, and you know, we are the flagship station of the Jaguars. So
absolutely,
we appreciate Coach's enthusiasm for all things Jaguars, and I know you're excited to hear from this next guy. I got to catch up yesterday with Elijah Cooks, one of those young rookie wide receivers vying for that 5th, 6th spot on the Jaguars depth chart. Pleased to be joined with Jaguars wide receiver Elijah Cooks. Elijah, obviously a little bit warm today. Your first training camp here in Duval, first live practice as well. Initial impressions coming off of Monday's practice.
It was just a great day, honestly. It's great to be out here. It's warm. I'm from California, so it's a big difference, but I'm loving every bit of it. First training camp's always a blessing.
You obviously have flashed at different points of this camp. What made you, though, sign with the Jaguars of any team you could have signed with as an undrafted free agent?
Just the receiving room. We had a lot of great vets that were here already, and I knew I could learn a lot from them. And just honestly, an opportunity to play somewhere else. And I've never lived in Florida. I've been a Cowboy my whole life, so just it was an opportunity to do something different.
How would you describe what type of wide receiver you are?
I'm a big body receiver. I like to go up and get the ball, like always. When the ball comes in my area, it's mine or nobody else's. So that's how I've always played, and that's how I'm going to continue to play.
San Jose State, but Nevada was the first stop. For our listeners, our viewers who may not be as familiar, walk us through your story.
So I was at Nevada for my first 5 years, and I got hurt 2020 and 2021 back-to-back, first game and third game. So then I transferred to San Jose and had the best year of my life, had over 1,000 yards, and now it put me in the position that I'm here today.
10 touchdowns, right?
And 10 touchdowns, yes, ma'am.
Is that your calling card?
That's my calling. I love scoring touchdowns. That's what I've been my whole life. I love finding the end zone. I love it.
You had one near touchdown during team drills today, 3 defenders draped over you. Walk me through that play and your connection with the quarterbacks thus far.
Yes, that play I had an over route, and I should have came down with, honestly. Everything I feel like I touch, I should catch. So I'm still disappointed about that play, but I'm going to make up for it next practice. I promise that. And I'm getting closer to all these quarterbacks, honestly. Like, I can't wait for our first preseason game to really go out there and get some real live reps and play in an NFL game with these quarterbacks, because I know it's going to be a great experience, and all these quarterbacks are great. So it's just a great learning experience, learning from Trevor, CJ, and Nate. It's just awesome. You mentioned, the wide receivers here. It's so funny because this time a year ago for us that we were here, there were question marks of, I throw this money at Kirk, Zay Jones, who's Zay Jones? For you now, those were guys you wanted to play with. Yeah, 100%. Once the year they had last year, and also bring Calvin over, it's just like I knew that I could learn so much from those guys like Zay, Christian, Calvin, Jamal. They're all great receivers. They've been great receivers in the league, and just coming here just made it easy for me, honestly. Like, they made the transition so easy. They help us out every single day, and I'm just blessed for that. What's been the most fun part, on or off the field, since you came to Jacksonville? Honestly, playing. Like, I love playing football. Like, I love coming out here and playing, competing every day. Like, in college, you don't compete the way you do out here because it's like it's a full game every day. You're trying to win a spot. So, like, that's what I'm loving the most about it, honestly. You are California, though, so do you enjoy having a beach? Are you a beach guy? Are you a fishing hunt guy? I know we got a lot of boaters on this team. I'm a big beach guy, I'll be honest. I stay right on the area of California where there's no traffic, and we're right on the beach. So I love that part of I'm a big beach guy. I love it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Elijah. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can't wait for Saturday.
So you see that guy, you hear the personality, Coach.
Yeah.
And I told you, like, I immediately I thought I was getting bowled over by a tight end, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's a big body receiver.
Yeah, I just got a few goosebumps listening to him talk. The young players are my favorite. When I was coaching, they grow up with you. And the enthusiasm, and he sounds like he's a great young man.
Right.
You hope good things happen. I was saying earlier in the break that he's made a tough catch in almost every practice, and now it's more to it than that. But you'd like to see the kid be successful because he's got that little something about playing and competing and all. Oh yeah.
And go back to what Doug Peterson said at the presser.
Yep.
He started out with Kevin Austin.
Right. When we asked Doug as far as that 5th, 6th wide receiver spot who's stepped up, he obviously, he starts with Kevin Austin, which we played that soundbite because he's been a guy who has really embraced that second year. Right. He obviously mentions Tim Jones because he is the incumbent in that 5th wide receiver spot, and as Press Taylor explained, Tim, they can throw in the slot, they can flex him outside, he can do a couple different things. But there is a notion that this team is missing that big body receiver. Right. And whether that's a Seth Williams or Elijah Cooks or Jacob Harris. Like, those are bigger-bodied guys. Not that I don't think Kevin Austin and Tim Jones couldn't fill that role, but they don't have the
83 and 84 are the big ones.
They don't have the measurables. Those two do.
Yeah, and again, I'm with you. I'm with the idea that you don't want all the receivers to be the same. You've got that right now. You've got Ridley, who's one size that can go up and get the ball. You got
Zay Jones is similar.
Zay is similar, but he's kind of in between.
Kirk's more of a slot.
Yeah, and so you got Christian Kirk.
You got a flex with Ingram.
Yeah, you've got a bunch of different style of receivers, and I think that puts some pressure on the defense.
And when you're talking red zone, you want a guy that can go up and attack the ball in the air.
That's why Prince all of a sudden has come into everybody's mind because, he's tall and he can run, and in the red zone, you're playing width instead of depth. So you've got to have some guys make some plays with guys around them. And a lot of it is being able to go up and get the football.
Yeah.
And Austin gives you that speed on the outside as well.
Absolutely. I think honestly, I have dots on guys here, and the receivers have the majority of the little dots on there, the young receivers.
All right, so here's the good question then. What are you looking at as far as offensive linemen this weekend? Who are the guys that you think have a chance to make this team?
Well, I think, first of all, Hance, I think, held his own. He got beat pretty good by, who was it, Devon Hamilton that beat him?
Yep.
One time in one-on-one, but he has actually got a little bit of talent. So
then he beat Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him out there. But the guy that I think they can't let go is Hodges.
Right.
Hodges is got athletic ability. He looks like he's got a little bit of a mean streak in him, toughness-wise. And, he's one of the guys, the big guys, that I think they can't let out of here.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the guys, Van Lannon and Wells and some of those guys, they're serviceable, but I'm talking about young guys that have a chance to do something.
And we know that they're banking on coaching, development, having those pet projects because they do return everybody minus their right tackle in that starting lineup from a season ago. And so these have to be projects, and how do you fit them onto the 53-man roster? It's a puzzle piece. Coach Campo going to break down the defensive side of that puzzle piece in the next segment because I need you to illuminate for my friend Matt Hayes here your feelings on Trayvon Walker after the first live
me
period.
out on Trayvon.
Well, you came running over to Joe and I, and you said, I'm a believer. We need to hear why.
Yeah, I did hear, by the way, that you were running down the sideline after you made one play in camp.
Absolutely. And I was looking for you, but you weren't out there.
We'll do that coming up next right here on a Tuesday edition of XL Primetime.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL at 1010XL.
Red Moondog 711 4213.
We speak at least 5 different languages.
Tree Rocket X Crash.
We have a PhD in sports talkology. 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Sports injuries are a common issue for both adults and children. Dr. George Barry here, and as a specialist in orthopedic care, the team at Barry Orthopedics and Sports Medicine here in Jacksonville provides comprehensive diagnosis and treatment of all types of sports injuries. With additional training in sports medicine and more than 30 years of experience, the team is available to care for your entire family and help you have fun and stay active. Visit us today at barryorthopedics.com.
And don't forget to check out Breaking Bones Sunday morning, 7:30 on 1010XL.
Taylor Dahl here for Renewal by Anderson. You will love your new custom windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. The first 50 callers get a free upgrade to TrueScene window screens. Plus, easy payment plans tailored to fit your budget. Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
Hello, barbecue lovers and sports fans alike.
High-flying Jack O'Brien here with a big hi, how are you? You know, I've been recently boning up on writing radio copy, and today we'll be executing the subliminal advertising approach. Here we go. Woody's Barbecue.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat. This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 8th, 1992, the original Dream Team win basketball gold at the Olympics 117-85, featuring Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frank Frangie here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The 2023 Jaguars wide receiver corps has the chance to be one of the best in franchise history. What does Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman think of the wide receiver group?
Look, I've been watching this football team for a long period of time, watching a lot of these teams in the division. I don't know if I've ever seen a group. I mean, you go back to Indianapolis when they had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, obviously two tremendous guys. I don't know if we've seen a group that's just as good as this. These guys are ultimate competitors, and they're about team. And if you're Trevor Lawrence, I mean, this is like utopia.
Jeff Lageman, a guest of Jaguars Today. The Jags have today off. They are back on the practice field tomorrow morning. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
When you look at it, the last couple of days, like there was a one play in practice the other day, they ran an outside zone. He walked the offensive tackle back, slid inside, and made the play. So you love to see the continual improvement in the run game, which was strong last year. We just need him to step that up. And then the pass game, you see the rushes. At times he's winning on the edge. He's powering. He's countering now. So, again, his toolbox is expanding, and you see the progress going on.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
And then you compound that with the Brenson Buckner quote to J.P. Shadrick yesterday about we had 29 missed sacks last year. It's not a getting to the quarterback issue for your Jacksonville Jaguars, Coach Campo. It's apparently just getting the quarterback down. So it's not a rush. This is the exact quote from Brenson Buckner. We didn't have a rushing problem. We had a get the quarterback on the ground problem.
I agree with that. I thought that they pressured. I mean, you have it in the stats with the PFF that they pressured. They were second or third or something in that neighborhood in pressures. Well, that's not enough. I mean, you got to get the quarterback on the ground some.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something that they really have to work on.
But then you go with what Mike Caldwell said. You go with what Brinson Buckner said. And this is, I always look at you and I say it like I'm raising my right hand and taking an oath. Coaches make players better.
Right.
Okay, I believe that. And so what they're riding on is that they will, second-year defensive coordinator and second-year players will become better players.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's I did it for 46 years. I mean, you gotta feel like they can do things with guys.
Right.
That once you recognize something, you work on that and you go from there. My concern is when you look at this defense as a whole, what they've shown to this point has to get better.
Right.
And I think you're going to see a lot more blitzing. And I think you're going to see a lot more 33 involved in rushing. And I'm not saying he's going to go outside and be an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to scheme. They're going to have to scheme up some sacks, in my opinion. Now, do I think guys are getting a little bit better? Absolutely. I know Matt's going to ask me about Trayvon, right, Matt?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh,
stop it. If you
No,
don't, we'll be
my thing is
disappointed.
your point is you think they're going to blitz more and use Lloyd more. And I agree with that.
yes.
But the more you try and scheme up and the more you try and bring more than they can block, the more you're putting your guys in the back end in man situations.
Yeah.
And the more you're putting your slot corner in a man situation.
Yeah.
But
And
those
we
other
know,
two
and
are
we know what
capable.
happens with your slot corner when he's in a man situation.
Yeah, there are ways, though, with the zone pressures and stuff.
What is it
to
that
get
Steve
some-
Smith said yesterday, Coach? Steve Smith, the former Carolina star receiver. What did he say on NFL Network that the Jaguars secondary couldn't cover? What did he say?
I didn't catch it because I know that
didn't either.
I'll pull it up.
he was high.
He said they couldn't stop a nosebleed
Right.
with like a crate of
Couldn't
tissues
stop
or
a
something
nosebleed
like
with
that.
a crate of tissues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one we got now?
No,
Well,
last year's
Oh,
secondary.
last year, yeah.
Which is
Well, it was
which
a
is
little
the one you got now.
But
Which
it's
is
so
the one you
funny.
got now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, they did give up big plays, but it's so
Right.
funny. And I keep referencing it that they were top 6 in takeaways and passes defense. They made plays.
Yes.
And Tyson Campbell became a much better player. Darius
Right.
Williams on the outside became a much better player. There are liabilities like
Right.
Matt's
What
talking
I mean
about.
is, if you can't get home with 4,
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah, you're
you've
putting
got
them
to
on an,
you've got to put those guys on an island.
But you know as well as I do, if you force a quarterback, now Mahomes will eat this up. He'll invite the blitz. We know that. But there are others that they will see this year, Coach, a number of them that they will see this year that will panic under duress. At least I think. Desmond Ridder, whoever's quarterbacking down in Tampa, Derek Carr, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, these are gettable guys if they have a good defense.
Yeah, I think the thing that's I don't think that they're going to be a big man blitz team. What I'm saying is that you can scheme overload situations where you're not bringing more than they can block, but you're setting up one too many that they can block on one side or the other and play zone behind it.
Right.
I think they're going to be more of a zone team this year. I think they were more of a zone team at the end of the year last year. And I think that that's what gives Trey Herndon a chance to play in this defense. Because if he has to lock up man-to-man, I've got the same concern that you do. I don't know that he can run fast enough with the slots to be able to handle pure man-to-man coverage.
See, we can coexist.
Yeah.
But I'm going to bring it back.
Absolutely. We're not completely at odds with each other. We love each other.
But I'm going to bring it back to Trayvon then because I do want you to illustrate for Matt and confirm. You have seen him using his hands. You saw the spin move yesterday.
Yes.
What was the moment? Because in one-on-ones you haven't seen it as much, but as Josh Allen told me, and we played it on the show yesterday, he has been stressing to Trayvon in one-on-ones, pick a move and stick with it the whole rep. Don't panic and go bull rush.
Yeah.
In team drills, it looks like Trayvon's figuring it out. In the one-on-ones is where he's been a little lost.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is a big, strong, physical dude. If he can get on the edge just enough That power rush will knock most of the tackles into the quarterback. But he's got to do that, and he is working on it because when his hand's on the ground, he's quicker coming off the line of scrimmage, and on third down, I'm telling you, his hands are going to be on the ground.
Yeah, and I think
it's
there's
first
the
and
potential.
second down where he's going to drop some, rush some. That's when he's standing up. He's going to have his hand down.
See, that's literally a waste of a play when he drops. To me, I mean,
I
look at that. If you got a guy who's 6'5", 275, who's fast, who can bend, who's athletic, that's a waste of a play dropping him in coverage.
If I get another coaching job, I'm going to hire you because we're going to be a 4-3.
Yeah. Hey, coach.
We will be a 4-3, yes.
There's going to be no outside.
We will 100%
There's going to be
be
no
an even
outside
front.
rushes.
Yes.
They're going to be rushing.
So who did he get on the ground? Was it Tank or ETN yesterday in space?
Yeah.
Got him on the ground.
It was
that was a big play.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. He got on the ground.
I'm trying to remember, but he got him on the ground. Stat.
It was Tank. He came in. It was that effort play. He came in at the last minute.
But if in Dave and I's world, where we're coaching the team, if you're an even front, and he's on the outside. The ball doesn't even get to Tank.
Yeah. Look, I get it.
Right?
I want to see his hand on the ground more. I'm 100%.
And it will be.
Yeah.
It will be. I'm convinced of that. I don't want to say too much because you guys get, I'm not full time here, so. I don't get as much stuff from the Jaguars probably as you guys do. If you say something that, I saw him lined up here or whatever. But
we don't want you giving away secrets.
No. He will have his hand on the ground more this year, and he will be inside more this year. I can tell you that right now.
Right, and we can't sit here and say all the time, we saw this one move and we went crazy for it.
Yeah.
He's got to be consistent. There's no doubt about that.
And I think that I think he cranked it up a notch when he was told in the meetings that it was going to be live.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the entire team did, and that was his best rushing game was yesterday.
Beautiful.
So,
all right, Coach.
We'll see.
We're going to do a little Campo and Joe podcast.
Absolutely.
We'll go Facebook Live right around 3 o'clock this afternoon, so we would love for you guys to log on to Facebook 1010XL and check that out, interact with us, but we will have that up in podcast form as well. Plenty, as Mia said earlier, 1010XL channels all over the place, so definitely take advantage of that. We would love to have you hang out with us. So we're going to hang out for a few more minutes, and then we're going to say hello to the Frangie Show.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Now, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
You want to save a couple extra pennies. And to me,
mornings.
It doesn't get out.
On 1010XL.
Now.
Mia here, and my friends over at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned are doing it again. They're fighting inflation and saving you even more. I'm going to call it Arlington's Inflation Fighter Special, because now that pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla I was telling you about, it's not $1,000 down. Nope, it is now just $500 down and $288 per month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma, not $1,000 down. I'm talking half of that, just $500 down and $388 per month. And it doesn't stop there. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock, plus more than 100 vehicles under $18K. And you still get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Everybody agrees. Inflation? Bad. But now we can also agree on this. The Inflation Fighter Special at Arlington Pre-Owned? Oh, so good. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Lauren Brooks here. Tired of joint pain holding you back? Try BioTarget from Injury Care Centers. This treatment will prolong the life of your joints by targeting the root of your pain and delivering more regenerative cells to the affected area, ensuring faster and more effective healing, making BioTarget the most advanced regenerative treatment. For a limited time, BioTarget starts as low as $499. Call Injury Care Centers or visit GoBioTarget.com. That's GoBioTarget.com.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com. where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Play on the edge. Stand on the edge. The Amateur's Edge. Get the Amateur's Edge. Powered by B3 Better. To learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Your quick and easy solution for paying the lowest price on car insurance is Estrella Insurance. E to the T here, and start saving the big bucks and pay less today. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE and see for yourself. That's 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE or visit EstrellaInsurance.com.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track.
We're basically going to have to win.
Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive.
1 point to the good.
And for fans to experience an event unlike any other. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 25th and 26th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Folks, it's finally here. The return of the Blue Crab Crab House. After a massive fire, they return and they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 4:30 to 10, Sunday noon to 9. As always, each and every Tuesday, $2 margaritas, $1 oysters on Wednesday. And as expected, the best crabs that you'll find throughout Jacksonville. Same ownership, same management. The Blue Crab Crab House off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the 2-minute drill. Brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL rolling with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
You know, this is why you got to watch XL Primetime and all the 1010XL shows on YouTube, because the interaction we just saw where Frank didn't want to take Coach Campo's seat, but Coach Campo insisted. These are the behind-the-scenes moments you need to see to believe.
But the French man is in.
This is one of the great trade downs of all time. This is like whoever came after Jordan, isn't it? You know, I don't even know who that was. That's what this is. Jordan got up, and then the next year, we don't even know who was next. I'm the next guy, and the guy after Jabbar. Whoever came after Jabbar, that's what you got here.
By the way,
it's a great trade down of all time.
Little League World Series on. Louisiana pitchers on the mound. I know this is going to shock you. His name's Guidry.
Of course it is.
Got good stock.
Rod Guidry in 1978. Me, I know you're a Yankees fan. This might be before you. Dave knows this.
Yeah.
25-3, 1.70 ERA, and didn't win the MVP.
Oh.
Won the Cy Young, not the MVP. 25-3, Matty.
I think they're all related, honestly.
25-3.
I think the Canes, New DC, also related.
They're all related.
Yes.
They're all related. How you doing, boys? How's everybody?
Doing great.
Girls?
Doing great.
Everybody good? Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Enjoying a day off.
I thought the same.
From
You know
the
what?
heat.
I love the practice. I love going out. I love watching. I enjoyed that there wasn't one today.
Yes.
I enjoyed that there wasn't
The players
one.
did too.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? They
the
probably
guys
did
knocking
too.
heads, yeah, they were happy.
Because it's been hot, man.
And there's no relief in sight, by the way. I looked
Yeah.
at the 10-day. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only lived here 5 years, but this is
It's
one of the
hot.
hotter Augusts. And it
I
doesn't sound
agree.
like it's even going to rain.
I agree with you.
We had the rain issue 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago, and now it's, nothing but heat.
Me, I've been here forever, and I think you're dead on. It's as hot as it hadn't been this hot in a long time.
And I do think we do it every year, Frank, because, dang, this is the hottest summer I think we've ever had.
So played
This
golf.
one does feel like
played golf over the weekend.
Mhm.
Okay. Played good. Played shot 39 on the front. Felt good. Got hot on the back.
Mhm.
Went double, bogey double, and almost quit. I mean, I said, am I enough of a sissy to quit? Because I can be a sissy.
We didn't
I'm
even
not
go
afraid.
out.
Okay?
We were all set, ready to golf on Jekyll with Bo Valentine's dad. And
Yeah.
his dad was down from Maryland and got like one whiff of the temperature and was like, yeah, maybe we skip this time because it was about 1 o'clock after
I'd play
practice.
in the heat over rain.
Me
any
too.
day.
Me too. I'm a hot guy, but it was just too hot. So, all right, a lot of things. We're talking a little bit conference realignment today. As always, Josh Allen and me. I know you caught up with him, and Hayes did as well. Josh Pate comes on today to talk about the latest in this conference stuff. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to tease it earlier, but tomorrow at 5, not today. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Mark Lamping's going to stop by. Just to kind of clear up some stuff in this next phase of the stadium thing,
Okay.
just to make sure we're clear on. There's been some misconceptions out there a little bit, so that'll be tomorrow's show.
Right.
But I don't want to get ahead of it.
And you guys will be at Island Wings tomorrow.
Island Wings tomorrow,
And so
that's
Mark will be stopping at
No,
Island
he'll be
Wings.
by phone.
On the phone.
He'll be
Gotcha.
but Mark will be with us tomorrow. So all that could be. Well, Josh Pate today, a lot of Jaguars talk, Josh Allen, a whole lot more. Thanks, guys.
All right, sounds good, Frank. We are out. We're going to turn it over to them. But, yeah, that'll be good just to kind of get an idea if there is anything else. I don't know, over the course of time we've been on the air, has anything else happened? Has someone else been invited by the ACC
No, it's
to come join
it's
them?
Stanford and Cal, the ACC or nothing.
Yeah.
That's the last move.
Yeah, you say that.
I mean, there's no other move.
I know.
That's the last move.
We've said it before, and then there's always something else. All right, we are out. Coach Campbell and I will have Facebook Live with Campbell and Joe coming up in just a little bit. You got Helmets and Heels
Yep,
later
6
on
o'clock,
today.
6 to 8.
Yep.
A lot of feelings about the U.S. Women's National Team. A lot of analogies that Coach Campo and I have already aired on the sidelines at Jags camp are forthcoming from Lauren and I. And of course, we'll also touch on the Jags and our sweet shots and round the NFL. You know, Taylor Dahl give you your update on everything NFC and beyond.
Yep, that's for sure. It'll be coming. All right, Beaver, Chevy, Beaver Toyota. We say thanks to them. Don't forget Beaver Toyota, StAugustine.com, BeaverChevrolet.com. It's where I took my car in for service today. So I know they're taking care of me. They can take care of you. Make sure you check them out. And on the lot, they're always great people. Joe C., Mia O'Brien, Matty Hayes, Coach Campo, Big Surson. Agent Gibbs, we did find out that JJ did make his flight today.
All right,
so
round of
he
applause.
is enjoying his
Love
honeymoon
that.
while Agent Gibbs is taking care of us.
I'm a Jaguar.
Cruising with XL Prime Time in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. The team that loves the team you love.
They came together as a team.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh boy, not again.
Do you feel this way every time there's rain?